We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for this special report.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody! Awesome! You people bought a ticket to see me, so shut up!
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no control.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you live under a rock,
I might
you
grab
are
a bat, I
looking
don't
at
know,
the
my rap, my blood
youngest
boils
and
over
fastest
like,
star in
oh God, here goes, I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll bleed on your face just to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you was just a fuck up real bad. Shut up. Be the villain. And I have no problem at all, because I couldn't care less if you like me or not. I'm here for success, and there's no one more successful than Grayson Waller.
Yeah! Let me talk to you. War game.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Heal the Ring podcast here on the Sports Jedi Network. It is This Week in Wrestling. I am in here with my partner and my co-host from beautiful Hershey, Pennsylvania. What's up, Chris? ¿Cómo está? How are you, brother?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. I'm excited. Another great week of wrestling. We started off really hot on Monday. I enjoyed the show, or the shows this week. Wasn't as long as it was last week. Not too much going on. It was good to, watch everything without, having to worry about watching this, that. So great week of wrestling. I'm excited to talk about it with everybody in this chat and you. So let's talk about it. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're going to talk about the Road to WrestleMania launches off here. We had, of course, over the weekend, some good wrestling all across the board from Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling night number 2. They're wrapped up. Sacrifice pay-per-view. We talked about that last week. And, of course, we get into Monday Night Raw, the Road to WrestleMania that starts off none other than Brussels out there in Belgium. And we're going to hear from the very first time a heel John Cena. Of course, we start off with Corey Graves and Michael Cole welcoming everyone to Monday Night Raw. And then out of nowhere, here comes John Cena making his way to the ring. Cena is being heckled by the fans in Brussels. They were loud. They were rumbustious. They were excited. Cena puts the mic down. I thought he was going to get another John Cena mic drop. But then he got on the microphone. He says for 25 years, he's been a victim of an abusive relationship with everyone and all the fans, saying how they've been bullying him and how he's taken so much crap slack from the WWE universe and how awful that we have been to him in his whole career. He talks about he won a lot and he won a lot even more, and we still hated on him. He's given back so much to the wrestling industry, the business, to the WWE, and he's still hated. And no matter what he does, what he doesn't do, it's never enough for the WWE universe. That the WWE universe should be ashamed of themselves for all that he has to do to take care of the wrestling business. So Cena puts up his values on the line, and anyone else who wonders why or what do you get, he got nothing of it. He's questioning himself. So before I say it a lot there, and we don't want to move on what Cena had to say, your thoughts on John Cena putting some truth into his promo?
Absolute truth. I mean, that promo was you couldn't really. I was sitting here just like, wow, like he's telling the truth. Like when you're old, if you're a little older, like you could really like. You can't really boo him. You can't really hate him. He's telling nothing but facts. But I thought the promo was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal promo. I like how he didn't just we didn't just see a Cody Rhodes and John Cena face to face right away. We got a promo of him by himself talking with us, the fans, explaining to the fans why, you know, he's the way he is right now instead of just going a one-on-one battle with Cody right away. That I enjoyed, you know, blame the fans, classic. It was so different. It was so weird seeing Cena, you know, telling us we ruined everything. He, you know, but I think he's right. I didn't see this promo coming. I thought we were going to get another mic drop, like Kev said. He was going to come out there, drop the mic, and then maybe Cody Rhodes would come out there, and then they would start talking. But he kept us guessing. Like, we were sitting on the watch along. I was like, guys, he's going to drop the mic. And then he started talking like how John Cena saying these quotes, and then he just the little things, and you could tell he was prepared for this because this was long. This was very long. So this was really well thought out by Cena. He's been such a good talker. So I think, you know, and as people were booing and people were saying F you, they were still quieting down to hear what he wanted to say. I thought that Brussels crowd was phenomenal. Sometimes, you know, I love the international crowds. My only problem sometimes with the international crowds, sometimes when the moment is not there, is when they talk too much while somebody's trying to speak. For this was totally, I thought this was good. I thought this needed that because this is a guy who is so universally loved and he just betrayed all of us. So I completely understand the crowd reaction for that. This could have kept going on a little more. Not gonna lie, as long as this was, they could have kept going on a little more. But I just like how for the start of John Cena giving us a heel promo, he talked about us, the fans, and now I'm excited to see how he can do a heel promo talking one-on-one to somebody like Cody or Punk. I wonder what shots they'll take, what shots he'll take. I'm happy they kind of saved that because when they get back to the States, I believe they'll be in Chicago and they'll be in London. So, you know, if him and Punk go out, you know, he could take a shot. He could take a shot in Chicago. So there's so much you know, from Cena that there's still so much exciting. He didn't give us all of it right away, but he gave us enough of an explanation to where he's right. Now I want to see how he actually, because he didn't say anything. Cody comes out and he's kind of like, what you just call me? Like you called me a bit? Like what? And he didn't say a word. So now I'm excited to see how he's gonna fire up and kind of be a heel while talking to somebody direct instead of us, the fans. But phenomenal promo. I thought it was a 9 out of 10. I loved it.
Yes, something that I want to lead into was John Cena saying that the toxicity of the fan base, and he's no longer going to be the butt of the jokes, and he's actually telling the fan base that he's breaking up with the fan base. So he doesn't want your cheers, your admiration, because at the end of the day, he was all in for loyalty, hustle, and respect was the moniker he still lives by. But for himself, he's going to hustle for himself. He's going to be loyal to himself, and he's respecting himself, and that's why he's breaking up with us as fans. Agree or disagree, and of course, out to the shenanigans or the hearers' welcome of none other than the undisputed world champion Cody Rhodes makes his way out to the ring to confront John Cena. Rhodes says he's willing to hear John Cena out, give him the benefit of the doubt, see where he comes from, if he can understand what he has done. While he agrees with Cena was giving hate, he also was given the best from the WWE universe and tells Cena to stop complaining and stop being a bitch, something that he used on The Rock last year. I thought it was a little copy and paste of the same type of attack he gave the Rock, just being there whining. But yeah, you get the pop and the ooh, the ahs. I got to hear more also. Be careful because Cena could totally cook promo battle, because other than John Cena put out all the bullet points that you're going to attack him, it's about the fans and all. What ammunition does Cody have to attack John Cena? Just a whiny, crying bitch. So be careful. What is there left for Cody Rhodes to throw at John Cena right now? John Cena just did that. There was no other despicable act for John Cena. That's it. That's why I'm interested to see going forward. They're going to be on the same roof tomorrow, Monday night in Scotland. is gonna, for me, what's next? You know, do you really want to keep going promo and do it, or do they get physical where pull aparts and they're just totally some combustible fighting that they just can't be in the same place. They just want to, you know, put the talking. They want to get their hands on one another because Rose dropped the mic and left. John Cena's not going to stay one up that way. So it's interesting to see there, Chris, on that where they go with that there.
I liked it. It was short. It was simple. But like you said, probably should have saved that for the next couple of weeks. That one line, because that was the line that got everybody to pop. I don't know. I don't know what he could really say to Cena. That's.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring on Samuel, who's going to join us this afternoon with us. We got an extra member here on the Heal the Ring podcast, all the way from the continent of Africa, joining us, the one and only Samuel. Once he starts running on, let's see if he's kicking on, if his cameras can bring it in with us. And as we wait, I will move on when we get Samuel on the screen with us. We'll get going here. We get the first matches of Monday Night Raw. Maybe give it a couple of seconds here if we could click on. If not, we're gonna have to put you in the green room. We'll put you in the green room, Samuel. Once you see your camera loading up, we'll bring you back up. I want to hear his thoughts on the Cody Rhodes and John Cena heel turn, because he's joining us for the very first time on the Heal the Ring podcast with us. And let's go to the first match. We get a no holds barred between Ludwig Kaiser versus Penta. These two men go right at it at the start of the bell. With right hands, Kaiser taking down the chops, sending them out of the ring. Kaiser throwing Penta over the barricades outside, and of course, Penta scales the barricade with a hurricanrana onto Kaiser, who does some phenomenal move there. As we're going to get Samuel in, he's loaded up. We're going to pause a minute there to say what's going on, Samuel. Bienvenido, salute. Welcome aboard to the Heal the Ring. How are you, pal?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, brother.
Loud
and clear. Welcome. Yes. We're going to be a little bit on the delay, but we'll work through it.
Okay.
Samuel's working. We can hear you. Yes, you can see my fingers. It says thumbs up. That means, oh! I think we're having a delay with Samuel. Check your settings, please, on the StreamYard application. It will help you there. As of course, Chris, while I move on here in the private chat, tell them to check the settings. Just write it down in the private chat there while we move on here, because the show must go on. Of course, we're talking about Penta and Ludwig Kaiser in some great moves back and forth here. The spot here, I'm going to wrap this one up here when Penta super kicks Kaiser while holding onto the chair, and Penta then attacks Kaiser with the chair. Penta hits the Canadian / Mexican Destroyer on the chair to get the win. Penta gets the victory in a match like holy moly. Chris, Penta, Ludwig Kaiser, they continue to have these banger of a match, and Penta continues to show us why he is one of these luchadors, not just luchadors, but a WWE superstar in the making.
Yeah, I think Penta likely ends this rivalry with that win. They're overseas. They're kind of in Ludwig Kaiser territory, so I'm not surprised that Penta got the win here. I'm a little bit surprised they put Ludwig Kaiser in this situation for him to lose. I will be honest, because this is a guy who reminds me so much of a Pete Dunne or like a Chad Gable. This guy is a great wrestler, has some heel personality or charisma, and they use him to put guys over because they know that's what his role is, to put guys over. And to me, Penta could have had another match with somebody else to get him over, and they should have put Ludwig over in this situation. But it was an intense match. I love the way these two guys get in the ring with each other. Kaiser got plenty of offense in, which a lot of the guys that Penta's going off against, it just seems like Penta's majority on offense, and then these guys are just like, no. Ludwig got some good shots in. Penta got what he had to do. I thought it was a good match. But this is most likely going to end the rivalry, and that's kind of why I say this a lot about Sheamus and Ludwig with them going head to head a lot of week. Now I see why Triple H puts Ludwig in these type of situations, because he's great at putting people over. So good job, Ludwig Kaiser. Good job, Penta. I think Penta. I think he would be great for the Intercontinental Championship. I know we don't know exactly what they want to do yet, but if they do want to do some type of like fatal 4-way or some type of match like with those for like the Intercontinental Championship, I wouldn't mind them adding Penta into it. And I think he could win. I think he could win. If it's not Bron Breakker retaining it, I truly think Penta could walk out WrestleMania Intercontinental Champion.
All right, we'll
go.
It
expands on, yeah.
We'll go to Samuel. Samuel, let's see if we can get you going here. What's going on first and foremost? How are you, pal?
I'm good, man. I don't know if you could hear me because I'm clearly hearing you. I really want to know if I'm being heard.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm so glad to make it to this session. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you so much, Kev. Really excited to be here. I want to go. Let's go.
Give you thoughts here. I know you came in when we talked about the Cody Rhodes and John Cena heel promo. Give me your quick thoughts on that, the way they went back and forth. Did it connect with you? I want to hear your thoughts. You know, of course you're in Africa, so you're not part of the American crowd to have that persuasion. You're hearing it totally with a different perspective, mindset. I want to hear your thoughts. What did it resonate to you?
Oh, personally for me, it was I felt just like anyone else. We all went into that show expecting more, expecting Cena to explain why 17 means more to him and why he wants it, expecting him to explain why did you line up with The Rock, explaining him to also explain why did you, because obviously what he did, he said he's not a heel, he's not a baby face, he's a human being. But to us as fans, like what he did was a heel turn because he turned on somebody that is good in our eyes and a fan favorite like Cody. So we expected him to explain all of that. But what we got was, in the person world, they would say less is more. He gave us less, but it meant so much because you saw him explaining how he felt as a human being, and because you would ask yourself, is he human? Because we make a joke, Super Cena is always winning. Like any time you see Cena in a match, he's going over. And even when odds are stacked against him, so it was really nice hearing him, explain how he felt all of these years, and it makes you think about it and ask yourself, wait, was all of this you did all these years? Like, did you feel this just at the Elimination Chamber, or this was how you felt all through the years? It was a whole lot to take in. I watched the show alone, and over the course of the week, I came back to my godparents' house, and I had to put on the show to watch with my godfather and my godmom and the whole family. I just wanted to see their reaction. And this is the man that literally introduced me to, like, this is the man that literally gave me pro wrestling to watch every single time. Like, he got everything from me. So I wanted to see his reaction when he saw Cena, because like Cena is my generation. So I wanted to see like how he felt. And for some reason, everything Cena was saying is as if he was showing them, like, yes, tell them they deserve to. I'm like, he's talking to me and you. He's like, he's not talking to me. I'm support everything. So like, whoa. It. So I kind of like, I'm like, why? I'm like, don't you feel sad for Cody? Like, why should I feel sad for Cody? It's like when Cody gets to that stage, he would do same. I'm like, holy shit. So like, Cena resonated to me as a human being, but as a fan, did I like what he did to Cody? No. But as a human being, you would understand what it means when you are in the place of power, when you are in place of criticism. This man has been criticized all these years. Like, everything he does is under a microscope. Oh, he needs to do more. How can he? So Kev, for me, it was just a whole lot of emotions, but I would say I'm on the Cena side right here. I'm on the Cena side right here.
Hey, I'm with you. Your uncle, smart. I felt the same way as him. From the ECW arena when he's the world champion and they threw back his shirt and they say, if Cena wins, we riot, to John Cena sucks. No matter what he did, the Make-A-Wish, there's a lot of truth to that. Why he's breaking up with the fans, and this is the reason why he contemplated turning heel. Because I was the babyface white meat to do everything right. Besides saying your prayers, eating your vitamins, and believing in yourself, that's my version of John Cena, the Hogan era. But this one here, loyalty, hustle, respect is your generation. So it kind of fits eerie that they, you see them turn baby heel now, where now it works for John Cena, because there's some truth to it, because we as fans, didn't respect or didn't know what we had until he's leaving now. So I like that for John Cena. When in the case of Hogan was just stale. Cena's not stale. Cena's just leaving. So he's giving us something on his final encore on his way out that we're like, wow, this was golden. I like that emotion. I like how you felt that way on there. On that. We are at the first match of Monday Night Raw. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Simon.
You know what, Kev? It was funny because that was like my godfather's narrative on like how he felt coming out of that promo, and I was like curious to know what my godmother felt about it. I'm like, Ma, what do you think about that? It's like, do you think that man is wrong for feeling that way? I'm like, I don't understand. I want to hear from your point of view. Guess what the angle she went. She was like, what about the relationship with Nikki Bella? I'm like, how does that matter? You think it matters too, because that man gave her to see a man that is very true. I'm like, see the way she connected the dots. Like, this man told you who he was. He showed you who he was. She was connecting total divas to me. I'm like, I watched that show with you too. It's like that man gave her everything. And what did she do? Immediately he drove her to go learn how to dance so she can appear on Dancing with the Stars. And what did she do? She left him for the dancer. And where is she at now? I'm like, Ma, she's divorced. Like, cool, that serves her right. And like, you think she does not feel bad? I'm like, oh my goodness. So you see, everybody inside with Cena in every capacity, and that's crazy to me. And I just wanted to like keep that in, because I'm like, even on the relationship side, my mama still sides with Cena on this. I'm like, okay, so Cena, WrestleMania, let's go.
See, that's the emotion of watching wrestling. You see that emotion across not only wrestling fans, casuals, or even like your godparents. It's just, that's what wrestling does. It gets you that escape. It gets you to that moment. And right now, this storyline with John Cena turning heel, Cody Rhodes is world champion, it's just transcending. It's more than just wrestling. It's mainstream, because now it's being covered everywhere, which is what we love and see there on that. Yes, we got a comment in the chat. What's going on, Ethan, in the building? What's going on, Ethan? Yo, salute across the pond. Let's go. Twitch just gave me the notification. Twitch is slacking sometimes, Ethan, but we appreciate you joining us on this Saturday afternoon across the pond. By the way, on the side note, Ethan, are you heading Monday Night Raw or next Friday night at the OC at the old arena there in London? Because I know he lives across the pond and he's a big wrestling fan. I wonder if he's going to be there in attendance. On the side note, yeah, he's there. There we go. Nice. Oh, Ethan, you know what I would love for you, but we'll talk. I'll Insta DM you. I'll send the link so you to come in the chat from the arena for us, and I mean, the heel of the ring, get us there. We got it so we could claimly have a man on the boots in the arena. Unlike some other people that supposed to be heel of the ring, they go to the events and they don't even put a peep that they're there for us. But I love that. And Raw also, there you go. Oh, he's there. Let's go as we're ready to move on to the next match. Dakota Kai, Nile with American Made here. I'm going to go real quick on that one. Dakota Kai gets the victory and what an impressive win for Dakota there. Good to see Dakota Kai get a win, but it kind of feels like when Dakota Kai gets an opportunity for a world title, she comes up short, Chris.
It's all the time, and I think that's going to change. I think a lot of these fans are upset. They're pissed. They want Dakota Kai to be Intercontinental Champion. I think she's good to have it. I understand the fans' frustration. It's kind of, like I said, I've said this before. It kind of reminds me of like the LA Knight situation when people wanted him to win here. It's now when he actually wins it, it might mean a little more. So maybe that's what Triple H is trying to lean to. But yeah, this was a good match. I honestly thought either one could win because they're both kind of in that Intercontinental title scene, and they both have had good matches for it. But if they do have Dakota Kai competing for this title at WrestleMania instead of a Raw, I think she wins. I think she wins it at WrestleMania. I think she finally gets her moment after months and months and months of putting people over, losing these matches, even going on her own platform and saying, I just want to, something, or like she just wants more opportunity. She just wants a title. So I don't think she's had a singles title since she's been in the main roster. So this would be good to have a WrestleMania moment for her. She's one of Triple H's favorites. So if she's in the if it's her and Lyra at Mania, I think Dakota Kai will get to the moment there.
Hey, I got nothing to add to that. That you hit it right on. Your analysis and your with Dakota Kai on point. It wouldn't hurt her if she go and have her WrestleMania moment, like you said. And great comparison with LA Knight. That was a very good one here. I'm going to move on because we got a lot of wrestling to cover. So I don't want to just stay stuck on Raw for 45 to now. I want to go through it because we got a lot of different things because there's going to be a lot of hot topics coming out, especially in the mid part of the week. We got Jey Uso versus Austin Theory, and pretty much was a squash match. But what came out of it was the wonderful moonsault mishap for Jey Uso. It was top dollar type. Samuel, your thought on that moonsault for Jey Uso? Too much Waffle House?
Kev, you had to go with the top dollar reference. My goodness.
Hey, I love AJ Francis, by the
way. Hi, AJ. All right, so sincerely for me, looking back at that moment, and I'm like, could this go any bad for Jey Uso? I mean, this man is already getting the backlash for getting the win at the Royal Rumble. People ain't feeling him, and it's so funny how people will be supporting you, and then when the company or when you are now being backed, I'm like, okay, so we all obviously the dad Rikishi has been pushing for. I mean, my son is doing great. Yeah, Rikishi has been pushing for the son to, like, it's like every single time Jay comes off shots in like a big opportunity, the next thing is Rikishi on Twitter. So sorry, X, and you're like, okay, so what's going on here? And finally, the administration or the management finally says, okay, let's go all in on this guy. And it just so happens is with one of the most to call Gunther talented is an understatement, it's an insult, personally to me. Gunther is just great. And that is not the capacity that we see Jay in. When I look at Jay, I don't look at Jay as a great pro wrestler. Sorry if it comes off as if I'm not trying to throw shades here. Jay brings more than a pro wrestler. You would call him the if you were to print out or you were to produce a sports entertainer true and true, it will come off as Jay because he gets the crowd. Like, you connect with him, you see, he's so hip, he's so cool, like he can just connect with just about anybody. But when it comes to the in-ring products, like, it's as if we want to see Jay in other capacity other than the in-ring products. Jay was so I almost come to I almost get conflicted at times. I'm like, but we never saw all these holes when he was part of the bloodline. It just so happened it was when he was given the opportunity to, like, hey, you're gonna go solo. That's when we are now, is as if he's under a microscope. We are criticizing him too much, and I just somehow feel bad for him at times. I'm like, oh shit, this guy gets this shit too much. And I used to look back at the moments he had with Roman, the moments he had with Sammy, the moments he had with even with his brother Jimmy. I mean, they had the most fucked up match at WrestleMania last year. Sorry to say, everybody was like, oh, that match was the shits. And you look back at all of that, I'm like, how can he conquer all of this noise? It's so crazy right now looking back. And like Monday, that mishap, that top rope shit did not even help. We're already feeling like 10 weeks of Gunther, choking me out every, like, can you give us more? Like, I want the J after Raw after Royal Rumble. I want the J that could not say a word. I want the J that, cried and make me feel like the cool kids would say, I got the feels. Because he made you could you could relate. You could understand where he was coming from. Like, you could see the J of the time where Sammy would be. I remember one of the best segments when I want to remember Jay is the segment he and Sammy were arguing about the tribal chief and what they need to do about the tribal chief, and he shouted back at Sammy, "I don't give a damn what the tribal chief says," and the camera just spanned to Roman. We're like, oh, it's fucked up. Like, so, like, all of those things, we need them to pull more into the emotional aspect of Jay. And over these past couple of weeks, we are not getting that. It's more of, okay, how can he come in and, hit and, get attacked, have a match? Even if we were supposed to get a match with Jay, I don't feel Theory and Grayson Waller is the people to go to. I mean, those are the jokes of the industry at this point, at this moment. And I'm like, who are the people you could put Jay with, that Jay can shine, that Jay can show that, oh, he got this. Like, this is WrestleMania. And right now, Triple H had said during the Elimination Chamber press conference, the scrum they do, that, and when they were asking about the main event, what is going to main event, and it's like, we would go with a match that feels like they deserve to be there. If you ask me right now, everybody says from day one, Jay and Gunther deserve to be the main event. Right now, looking back, I'm like, don't even kick off that show with that match, because right now people don't even. I'm not sure there are people out there that feels like they need to see Jay, because they're already counting Jay out. And I bet you if Jay wins at WrestleMania, right, people will get mad. Like, oh, you just have to put him in the video. He did not earn it. It's so crazy, Kev, looking back at it. And Monday did not even help. And I'm sorry, and I don't know what they need to do, but they need to do something. Turn this shit to 110. If not, you stand a chance to lose one of the, the standout superstar that you have built and you've shown us these past 3 years.
I like it. I'm gonna give you to Chris. I want to hear your thoughts, but first let's take a look at that again. Here you go. It's on me.
Oh my god. No, Samuel hit it on the park. I agree a lot with Samuel said. This didn't help him at all. He's already getting criticized for only having 3 moves: a super kick, a splash, and a really, really, really bad spear. Sorry, that spear is one of the worst spears in wrestling right now. That did not help him at all. But Samuel pretty much nailed it on. We need a little more than just the yeets. What was the point of a squash match for this? So yeah, Samuel, you hit it on. You hit it on nail. You hit the nail, pretty well. The only thing I could add is just, that didn't really help it, because people, like
nails,
I said, people
nails. That's for Wednesday.
We'll get to there, Kev. We'll get to there. We'll get there later in the show. But yeah, Samuel, he was spot on. He was spot on. I agree. I don't think that match should main event. Now that you have Punk, Rollins, and Seth announced, and Cody and John, I don't see how that match main events the show.
Yeah, here's my thoughts on this. And I like what Chef Dan. I'm going to give Chef Dan Uber all the credit. Pretty honest with you, he said we shouldn't see the entrance no more. He's been saying that for the past 2 weeks, from Jey Uso with the yeeting until WrestleMania, because it becomes special. Now you get used to it. I understand you're in overseas and you want people to yeet and you want to feel that yeeting experience. But Gunther is from Europe. The first European tour on last Monday night when it kicked off, he should have totally gotten Jey Uso injured. Similar, and I was saying earlier. I didn't remember which storyline was it with Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man, where Ricky Steamboat was injured through his throat, and we didn't see Ricky Steamboat until WrestleMania 3 before they matched. I would have liked Gunther to kind of, with the choke, taking Jay out and taking him off for about 4 to 5 weeks. And you could hear updates for him, his condition, and then go, I didn't fight this hard because just to give my opportunity to someone else and win the Rumble. Interviews where Jay, you're feeling sympathetic with Jay because he got choked out and kind of borrowed a little bit from Ricky Steamboat, got his throat injured a little bit where he couldn't talk too much. He couldn't do yeet. And then when he comes at WrestleMania, the yeeting, people want to see Jay, the entrance, being part of it. If he wins the title, it's a feel-good moment because you're invested, because he overcame injury, winning the Rumble, doubt, and so forth to beat Gunther. And Gunther is this larger-than-life persona. You could have done that route. You could have booked it. You could have borrowed a little bit from the past to elevate a megastar in Jey Uso. Like you said, Samuel, he's hot. he's on fire. But the more you see, the more he becomes furniture. Like, I got a new house, I got my sofa, but after a couple of years, you take it for granted because the sofa's there. You're going to sit down and that sofa is there for you to sit and comfort. It's not new no more. It doesn't recline. You're used to it. Go ahead, Samuel.
Yeah. Kev, as you were explaining, something just came up in my head. I'm like,
I love it.
Did you see what Cena did to Cody? Cody has something to show for how he should kill Cena at WrestleMania. The eyes, we saw they blooded him. What does Jay has to show for why he needs to, he needs to win this? No scars, no receipts. Like we don't even have anything. Like in my mind, I'm like, why should I see this? Why should I care about? Okay, you want Royal Rumble? Everybody wins Royal Rumble. Watch that. Just like what happened? Was it 2 years ago with Rhea and Charlotte? Everybody says, oh, Rhea and Charlotte should main event WrestleMania Night 1, and people were like, why should they? Like you can't even talk me to wanting to see that match in the main event. Why should they? The tag team championship main evented that show because emotions was there. This is what happens. Jay is not like right now. You think him coming to say, oh, play my music, hit my music, and we hit twice in the night would get me to bro, I've been saying that for the past couple of full 12 to 15 months. Like, what else do you have? Gunther needs to bloody this man. Gunther needs to beat this man lifeless. Like, we'll be like, oh shit, Jay, you need to get your ass up and win this. He needs to make me believe. Right now, I don't believe I'm not a believer in Jey Uso at this point. So I don't know how many weeks is left before WrestleMania. He needs to make me believe. I don't know how they need to get there. And Gunther needs to stop. Gunther needs to stop threatening him. You need to do something. Show me that you need to get this man off your list. So I don't know what they're gonna do on Monday. I don't know if Jimmy would be the one to come out as his tag team partner. If it means Gunther attacking the brother, almost taking Jimmy out, I'm sorry, Jimmy will not have. If it means him beating Jimmy to the point that Jay have to handcuff Jay some way, beat the brother to pop, let Jay have a reason to want to beat you. Right now, I don't even know why I need to, and they should not even try me and say just because Jay won the one Royal Rumble, he needs to main event Night 1. Because that shit ain't selling right now. I am buying that shit at this point, and that will fuck up their business, and that might even kill Jay for me.
I mean, hey, I like your perspective, and then I go back, and again, your points ties into what I was saying, that emotional investment, because the Macho Man took out Ricky Steamboat. He hurt his throat. We didn't see him on television. They could have done that in the European tour because the Mexi's also Gunther's legend. You're not going to yeet, and you're not going to take the crowd out in my continent. Like Gunther could have even wrote that promo, said, look, I'm big here in Europe. I'm big here across the pond, and you ain't coming to yeet. That's why I took you out. I choked you out, and I'm at the point of crushing your trachea with my chokehold because you're not going to yeet. You're not going to, I'm not hearing those words yeet uttered out of your mouth, throat until we get 6 weeks from now until WrestleMania. I wish they would have kind of gave us that. And again, like you said, everybody likes to garner sympathy for your baby face. What way of getting sympathy for Jey Uso, him getting beat up there? Like you said, maybe they could make it work. They got 4 weeks to go before WrestleMania. Do he go after Jimmy and beat? But then I kind of I feel like that's a crutch. If you beat up on Jimmy, then are you really a singles, or are you younger brother keeping over big brother, and you're not really singles? You're more of a tag team. So I wonder where they go with that. And I do know that they kind of tinted or teased tag team because Jay at the end of the match gets beat up by A-Town Down, by Waller and Theory, where it sets up a match in Glasgow, Scotland. Jay is going to have a mystery partner. Now, Jay right now is getting questions from the IWC, like yourself, if he believes. But does Jey Uso find someone he could believe in to team up with him? Chris?
Believe. I believe. We know who.
Do you believe?
We know it's most likely going to be Joe Hendricks.
Whether it's in London, in Paris, or in Scotland,
Tokyo, America, Scotland. I believe.
Do you believe in his tag team partner?
I believe in his tag team partner. Yep, I think it's going
to say his name. Can you say his name and he appears?
Yeah.
My goodness. Talk about, and now, it kind of steals a little bit of the negativity, or not the negativity, or the down of Jey Uso currently right now, because he's going to get that pop from one of the Uber babyface and Joe Henry in Scotland.
That place is
where
going to go freaking in. Kev, we watch TNA every Thursday, and we see Joe Hendry in these. We saw him at the Rumble. This is going to top that. This is this is his place. I mean, yeah, I like it. You have the TNA. I love this for TNA. You had your world champion on a major show in his home crowd. I mean, if it is Joe Hendry, man, I mean, he's having a hell of a year and a half so far.
Indeed. So we'll move on here. Yes. Go ahead.
You know what? This is the one time like I would like to look outside this as a fan. Bringing Joe Hendry in would be one of the biggest moments you could give someone like Joe Hendry, because this is something he would love to, like, this is something he's been dreaming of. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at it as like, people they would say the reaction doesn't matter. Last week's this Monday's show with Jay, we saw the people tweeting about dislikes that came in. People disliked the whole scene and everything. So bringing Joe Hendry in, I'm just feeling, would this enhance Jay, or would it actually hurt him? Because at the end of the day, people are like, oh, look at them go. They're trying to now bring in more people to help crutch Jay to where they want him to go. I'm like, I believe for me, in as much as that would be a big moment for Joe Hendry, at the end of the day, I'm looking at it like I would rather see it all depends on what they are trying to put in, because if you bring Joe Hendry in, it's as if you are trying to bring another big baby face to help crutch up Jay. But at the end of the day, in terms of the emotions, what does that do? It's just like a moment and then it goes. We are still looking at it. Why should I care? Why should I care about this matter? No. That's what I'm asking you. Why should I care? I'll be happy.
You're not seeing the big picture. You're not seeing the big picture.
I'm just like,
I said this, Samuel. Sorry to interrupt. Here's the thing.
Okay.
Who's going to be under the same roof at Glasgow, Scotland? It's going to be John Cena. Am I correct? John Cena is going to be there Monday Night Raw.
Okay. Yeah.
In the past, when Joe Henry won the TNA World Title, he called out John Cena, and John Cena was a babyface. Now, that's the best way of getting those two in the hallway, in the same roof, planting seeds for later down the road. I've been saying it here on the Heel of the Ring. SummerSlam is their real big show. It's the first 2 nights of SummerSlam in New York City. In the heart of New York City, although it's the Meadowlands, New Jersey, whatever, still in the New York metropolitan area, where they want people to come to that big event to sell out MetLife Stadium for 2 nights. Now, you cross path there, you plant the seed of Joe Henry and John Cena, where either they want to sell out the UBS Arena for TNA in New York City, where John Cena comes and challenges Joe Henry for the TNA title for SummerSlam, and that's the main event where they're going to now help TNA sell out that building where 1,200,000 plus strong, or even have a bigger gate than what AEW does for whenever they host there because of MJF. It's all about money. It's about money and business. And what way of doing it? Joe Henry, John Cena teasing it down the road there with Joe Henry in the building, and maybe John Cena gets physical with a Joe Henry, and there's a receipt, a slap, a taste, or Joe Henry says, "I used to believe in you, now I don't believe." And John Cena clocks him in the mouth.
Oh shit!
Exactly. That's what the big picture is there.
If that's the big picture, then get him far away from Jay. Let me focus on only that moment. But I know, obviously they're in partnership. I just hope they do something big. That would be beautiful. That would be beautiful, because now we are looking ahead. Now we are thinking, oh shit. But everything right now is very risky, because you know how fans get. They're like, okay, so how can we scrap Cody out? And everything is just crazy. But that's a great idea.
Let me say this one thing. I'm gonna use this as an example in realism, and I'll let Chris go here. Joe Henry and Jey Uso, get him away. No, because Joe Henry is like Chris right now. Chris is the conduit for me to meeting you and bringing you on our program. So Jey Uso is the conduit to bring Joe Henry to the WWE Universe because everybody's yeeting, everybody's going yeet, everybody's going crazy. They love the entrance. And then you bring Joe Henry into the WWE Universe. Everybody knows what Joe Henry is, but there's still a bunch of, I don't want to say naive people that think that people don't watch wrestling, other wrestling, don't know who Joe Henry is, but they're catering to the naive people. And Jay is so over, and he's introducing Joe Henry, and then he has a backstage with John Cena. Who's this Joe Henry that Jay is gravitating to? And now John Cena slapped him. Now you're gonna want to watch TNA. It's all a business.
I was just gonna say that's the part right there. That's the part right there. It's watching TNA because it's not just Joe Hendry. They're gonna see what championship does this guy have. Oh, he's the TNA. There's Samuel. You'd be surprised. There's some people here that still don't understand or don't even realize TNA and WWE like have a thing. Especially some of the casuals that know who Joe Hendry is. But now that the Royal Rumble, he appeared at the Royal Rumble, now people are, but before that, they were just like, who's this Joe Hendry guy? I see him on, but like I've had to explain. Now he gets in a program with John Cena as the TNA title. That's all I wanted to add to it. It's gonna help not just Joe Hendry, but it's going to help TNA. And I think this is their last year on that app.
I agree with you.
I think this is the last year on that app. I think they get a TV deal. And by the end of 20, like you know how when All Elite Wrestling announced the beginning of next year will be, that's what TNA is going to do. End of next year they'll announce it. Hopefully sooner, but if that does happen and this skyrockets for TNA, we're not going to need TNA happening, and all of us will be able to watch it.
I agree with you, and that's the big problem. Setting up stuff for later down the road, not just WrestleMania, not just the road to WrestleMania, but for the summer with Joe Henry being there, and that's where that works. That's where the big business is at hand. Speaking of big business, we had a contract signing. Iyo Sky Bianca Belair gets interrupted by none other than Rhea Ripley. Comes out, kind of a weird attitude from Rhea, like childish. She signs her name in the contract. She tries to powerbomb the two ladies. The table doesn't break. She leaves with Pierce arguing in the back. Something's off with Rhea Ripley. Do you agree, Chris?
I do think something's off with Rhea Ripley. I think something's off with her, especially since she lost that world title. She's not on top of the world. Everybody expects her to walk it. Like I think she's a little starstruck. That she actually lost her title. I've been saying this since the night she lost her title when we did Weekly Wrestling that week, or when we did NXT that week, and we talked about it the day after. They're going to add Rhea to this match. They're going to add her to the match. I don't mind it because, again, a lot of people, to me, what I've heard, what I've seen, a lot of people wanted to either see Iyo versus Rhea, Bianca versus Rhea, Iyo versus Bianca, and now we get a little bit of all of it in one. I don't mind that. I know a lot of people aren't fans of triple threats and fatal four ways. You have 3 or 4 good people that know how to do it. I think it works fine, and these are 3 phenomenal ladies that can pull this off. I like the match. I like Iyo Sky because remember this isn't a problem for me. This could be an issue for an audience, right? Not being the Iyo Sky's ability of not being able to speak fully English. I love her getting involved, doing physical slaps, even saying some stuff on the mic, because now we're taking her a little more serious and we're like, oh, like she's not playing around this time. Like her first run was kind of like, I'm champion, yeah. Now she's like, no, I'm champion. Like you guys think you guys are bigger than me. Like I'm gonna show at WrestleMania like why people like me, like PJ's Chris, don't appreciate me or think I'm overrated or what. So I like this from Iyo Sky. I like her being in the mix. But I think this does a lot for Rhea. I think this is a lot for the match for Rhea to be added because her and Bianca can do most of the talking. Because her and Bianca have, still that ongoing story of her being at the ring and her kind of still distracting. So I know a lot of people aren't happy with Rhea being added. I liked it. I think it made sense. That's all I
Hey,
got.
your thoughts, Samuel, on these three ladies? Are you connected? Do you want to see triple threat? How did you think it's going to get there, or what's your thoughts in general on the building of this possible triple threat match?
You know, as this is where you feel for the creative minds behind these three ladies, because it's always very difficult when it comes to WrestleMania season, because Tony Khan doesn't have this issue when it comes to pay-per-view. He packs everybody all hands on deck. We are having 25 matches for one show, everybody 100 superstars in one show, like it's not a problem to him. But when it comes to Triple H and the way he books his roster, is always very difficult when it comes to pay-per-views, because he's always looking at like what's like the best, the most, the best story for today, the best story for this show, the best story that will fit this theme. What is like what would move everything. And at the end of the day, sometimes he gets issues with obviously, the Twitter issues with Liv Morgan. Every pay-per-view wants Liv Morgan, but you can't always take someone like that to every show. It's a crazy scenario. So when I look at the Iyo and Bianca and Rhea Ripley,
Rhea.
this is the issue. I because I could clearly remember the WrestleMania after the Raw after WrestleMania 39. We had the face off between Rhea as SmackDown Women's Champion and also Bianca Belair as Raw Women's Champion. And he showed us that this is the future. These are the women, my own generation. This is it. This is who I'm going to work with. And obviously we saw the rise of Ripley, but the almost like kind of like a step down for Bianca all of these years. It's so crazy that now they are now neck to neck again. And normally you would want to see these two women, okay, now let's get that clash. But within these few years, someone like Iyo has risen. Oh,
I got you.
Can you hear me? My screen
Yeah,
just blanked
yeah,
out all of a sudden.
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're good. We can hear you, but we don't see you. You gotta turn your camera on. Samuel will join us. Let me bring Adam back on here. Samuel has a little technical difficulties, but he's been great here. Let me continue. Adam back on stage. And of course, he's having a little bit of technical difficulties. We'll get him back on. He's doing a real good job there. I want to finish. Hope he could give him a couple seconds to finish his take on the triple threat possibility. Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, who are the top of the apex of the women's division, if you ask me. For Bianca and Rhea Ripley, larger than life persona, where both ladies have main evented not just PLEs, but many PLEs all across, and not just WrestleManias as well, as I'm trying to get him back on. Just refresh your browser if you can hear us, Samuel. Just refresh your browser. Refresh your browser. We'll bring you back in, or let's see if you can hear us, but your camera isn't working. But if you're able to talk, go ahead. We could love to hear from you, as he's going to refresh his browser. We'll get him back up and rolling. But we'll move on, because we still got a lot of wrestling shows. We're stuck on the first one, and we're almost an hour in, so we got a little bit of a quicker pace here. We'll give this result real quick. You had LWO in the form of Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee taking on the Creed brothers, Julius and Brutus Creed. To a surprise, LWO gets the victory. Mysterio plants Julius with a DDT, and Lee hits him with the head scissors off the apron of Brutus. Mysterio takes down Julius from the top rope, hits a 619 and a splash, and the Creeds for the victory for LWO. So after the match, you see Lee and Mysterio attacked by the masked luchador. So the masked luchador made it away through customs. He made it through customs. He got there with the mask, by the way, got into the arena and attacked the Creed brothers. So this masked luchador, man, he's a menace to society. We got to find out who the hell this match luchador is, American made style or not. We'll find out who it is. We get a part here in Raw. I don't know if this was a filler or what's the segment happened, Chris. Seth Rollins just pretty much cuts a promo in the middle ring, says that he'll be on Friday Night SmackDown. Pretty much that's all it was.
I think that was to cater towards to to cater, because he didn't really talk much about, anything going on. He just told you guys ready for a great main event. So I think it was a filler. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think.
And then one thing. Yes.
Do you believe? Oh, real quick about this show, because we talked about the show for a while. Do you think that Cena's, because a lot of reports are saying Netflix, Cena took too much time, whatever. Do you think that's maybe why Seth Rollins went out there and did what he did? They maybe cut something short or whatever to throw in time.
So then, to me, if that's the case, then we're being bamboozled. We're being lied. We've been taken for idiots, suckers, cocksuckers, whatever you want to call us, because they say, oh, WWE is going to be on Netflix. There's no restrictions. You're going to have anywhere from 2-hour shows to 3.5 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours.
Right.
There's going to be no shackles. And all I see from Netflix is a shitload of shackles with the motherfucking, yes, I'm going to say motherfucking commercials. Sorry for the language, kiddos. Sorry for the language, parents or people that are listening. Too many freaking commercials. Plus 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and 40 minutes. They don't have a set time. It's Netflix. It's a streaming platform. There isn't that we have to go to the news. There isn't that we got to see a rerun of All in the Family or Three's Company. No, it's just, are you still watching? That's what comes after when Netflix goes off the air. Are you still watching or rate this? So I don't understand what was the caveat, unless if the building itself where they do the arena has a time limit with union issues and they have to be out with the crowd out of the building. That's a different story. That's where it could be then. But other than that, I don't know, because but anyway, let's put it this way. If they were on the USA Network, they had to fill 3 hours of wrestling shows. So what was the difference with the arena back then, if there was on Smack or USA Network to what is on Netflix? So I have asked that question. I had to be cynical on that one. I don't know. So there's been reports it was cut short because of that. The Jey Uso squash match, and then all that other stuff. Cena went too long. I don't know. Again, I put my counterpoint. You guys fill in. Give me your thoughts on that. There we go to the main event. But before the main event, we get a great promo with Kathy Kelly in the back talking to AJ Styles, interrupted by Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross just stirring the strings, just like his T-shirt. He's throwing the strings, pushing AJ Styles' strings. And, AJ Styles is upset at himself, but not at Paul. Styles knows that Karrion Kross is trying to do. It didn't work. Karrion Kross is putting the fact that it took him 18 years to get to the WWE, while Logan Paul just got in through the door and he's been on main events. Headlining main events, title runs, opportunities where AJ Styles, it took him so long, and Karrion Kross got under the skin. Karrion Kross continues to do great work, even for the 5 minutes in a backstage promo. He continues to get bigger, stronger. I hope that they use him, and after the WrestleMania season, they book him strong, and they give us the opportunities for Karrion Kross to work night in, night out in the ring, and with character development and storylines for him. We'll see. So we get to the main event. So we want to wrap up Raw Intercontinental title in a hell of a match. Bron Breakker versus Finn Balor. Now I'm going to be very biased and honest. Bron is my favorite wrestler. Bron is the guy that's my future. That's to me. I think he's the future of professional wrestling. I have a lot of bias reasons for him. Of course, he's my pal. We have taken pictures together. We're good buddies. So Brunson and I, tight. I'm gonna say great match there. Finn Balor, Bron Breakker, your thoughts there. We also got a stare off at the end with Penta coming out, helping Bron and staring at face to face possible opponent. What's your thoughts on that main event?
Good main event. Obvious person won, and I love the stare down between Penta and Bron. I hope they add AJ to the match. I wouldn't mind, but we already have a triple threat on the card, so we'll see. But I can't wait. I can't wait for these two to go at it in the future.
Yeah, that was a hell of a way of closing out. Seeing them attacking. And before we're burying the lead here a little bit, because before a backstage promo, Finn Balor gets mad at Dominic Mysterio because Dominic was trying to recruit Penta into the Judgment Day, and Dominic says, "Are you crazy?" Actually, Finn says, "Are you crazy? He just challenged for the Intercontinental title, #1 contender. If I win, you're bringing someone in Judgment Day that wants to come after my title. If I win this tonight." So there's a little dissension there between Judgment Day, Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, setting up for something maybe after WrestleMania, at WrestleMania. Dominic Mysterio ain't afraid of kicking people in the nads and taking it to the edge. I leave that there. So that is Monday Night Raw. We go into real quick. It's Tuesday night. It is Tuesday night, and it is NXT. NXT gets a little underground, but I'm gonna read the rest of the card. We'll go to something that caught our mind here. You had United States Women's Champion Chelsea Green taking on Ruca. Of course, Chelsea had her group in her corner, Piper Niven, Alba Fire, Zarya in the corner of Ruca in a real good match and back and forth. Of course, Chelsea Green gets the distraction and the unpretty her, but Ruca counters, tries to get a sunset flip. She escapes the snow snatcher and clips Ruca's injured knee and finally hitting with the unprettier and secure the victory for Chelsea Green. There, first and foremost, the Performance Center. We complain sometimes that they hijacked a little bit of the shows, but I got to give them not just one bouquet, 4 bouquets of flowers for the Pledge of Allegiance of Chelsea Green. That was on fire. That was fire. Funny. That was fire. They actually stand up and they pledge allegiance to the United States champion, Chelsea Green. Kudos to the Performance Center crowd again. Doing a great job there. And still champion. So no Zarya turn yet. No, I keep calling it. The day that I don't call it and I give up on it, that's what's going to happen. Because I've been saying, when is Zarya going to turn on Ruca? When is Zarya going to turn on Ruca? Nothing. We get a backstage interview with Trick Williams and Javon Evans. Trick Williams with a little edge, not so nice there. A little bit, a little edgy. Trick was right. He can't trust anyone. Trick makes it clear that he has no interest in being Javon's friend and that he is focused on reclaiming his NXT title. He warns Javon that he will never be him and he will never be NXT champion. Wow. Before walking out, Trick tells Javon to tighten up, and Lex King, our guy, joins the conversation and taunts Javon Evans, reminding him that he's lucky that he's not eating through a straw anymore. And Javon doesn't hesitate but punch Lexi in the face, setting up a possibly Heritage Cup matchup between Lex King and the one and only Javon Evans. We got a backstage promo between the family. Of course, they're telling the Don to stay in the back, and he didn't like it, but he says because he wants them at full strength to regain the North American title. All right. Here's the one thing of the night. We get a Stephanie McCure in the ring to address the audience. Admit that her English is not very good looking, but it's not her first language, but wrestling is. She said that she had the opportunity to go anywhere, any other promotion, any brand, but she chose NXT because she wants to make history. We're the best. Hear it again. We're the best women division on the planet. Yes, again, where the best women division is on the planet. And she reminds the audience that last week in New York, when she proved that she is la primera and holding 2 titles, makes her the best of the best. And she's waiting. She doesn't need 5. She says she only needs 2 to be called the best of the best for her. And of course, interrupted by Jordan Grace, congratulating her, coming out with some monster heels. Like my goodness, I mean, my God, those heels were high. Out to Jada Parker, attacks her, knocks her down. Jada gets looks her in the eyes and makes it clear that she's coming for the NXT Women title. Could there be another triple threat, Chris?
Dude, I unfortunately think that's what's gonna happen. Not unfortunately, but like there was a lot of triple threats going on. But again, I don't hate it because of the people in it.
If it makes sense,
and I think it does. Like I think a lot of these do, Kev. Like a lot of the triple threats do. I know people aren't. That's not their favorites, but it's like you can add Jordan Grace to this match. Like you can. Now here's my thing, Kev. With double champion, Jade was right, or Jada. I think Jada was the one who said she wanted to be double champion. She's gonna have to work 2 nights a week. That's what she wanted. Fallon Henley. She's the one because she didn't get her NXT North American title rematch. So I don't want a triple threat. I wouldn't mind it, but I don't want it. We have 2 championships on this brand. One person holds both of them. She's gonna have to defend both of them. So you defend your North American title against Jada Parker or Fallon Henley, whoever you want, and then you leave the world title for Jordan Grace. That's my opinion. I don't want a triple threat match, winner takes all. I don't want a triple threat match for all 2 of those belts. No! I want individual matches, individual storylines, because it makes sense for Jordynne Grace to be in the world title. It makes sense for Jordynne Grace or Jada Parker to get Northern. That's just me.
But no, I'm with you on that one there. I'm with you on that when it comes to the triple threat, and what Fallon Henley says, you want to be a double champion, you're going to do double duties. You're going to challenge here and there, and which I give credit to Stephanie McClure. She says, book it. I'm ready. I'm not,
Yeah,
she
I do too.
She mentioned on interviews before, we did either Busted Open After Dark, where she didn't have money for food, and all she knew about and her escape and her food was wrestling. So she's about that life of getting in the ring. 2 matches should be light work for her, and she's winning up to the challenge. And WWE is going to go for it. NXT, something that we haven't seen. Double champion, double night wrestling, double duty. I'm ready to let's go for it for Stephanie McClure. Of course, Jada Parker, Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace didn't hurt her ankle, which nothing came out of it because those stouts were really high for her.
Those
I
were
was like,
I saw. All right,
yeah.
my friend Nige from the Performance Center. Shout out NXT with Nige. He posted a picture of him right in front. Dude, that picture those heels looked. I could imagine what those looked in person because on TV they didn't look that big, but when he posted that picture. Those they had to be like 6 inches at least off, like from like her feet. The heels had to be at least like 6. They looked way bigger in that picture that he posted in TV. So
I give her credit
to walking out. Yeah, I give her credit because I looked at his picture. I was like, whoa, like those heels were bigger than they looked on TV. So yeah, shout out to Jordynne Grace. She looked a little different. That's not really her. Like she looked a little more feminine.
She was very feminine. She looked cute. She was so feminine with the color.
She looked good.
The color scheme that she came out with, she was very, that was nice. That's a different Jordynne Grace. Yeah, I appreciated that. That was very nice.
Jonathan used to live in the Central PA area, so I'm always going to root for Jordynne. I like her in NXT. And people could argue why is she going into the title picture right away. It's Jordynne Grace.
She beat Roxanne Perez for that pretty much.
And she beat Roxanne Perez. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, definitely, which you did definitely there. Samuel, when you're ready to, I'm going to kick off to you here. Your thoughts of the Stephanie McClure double champion. Now, let's see if we can hear you because we can see you. So we can't call you John Cena because we can actually see you now.
All right, I don't know if you can hear me right now. Okay, so I don't know what happened there. So my camera all of a sudden went blank and I tried to reconnect. I couldn't, so I had to go get the external camera. So I might be panning to the external camera over here. So I don't know. I just wanted to acknowledge if I've been seen. Obviously I'm not John Cena yet. Thank you, Kev. Thank you, Chris.
Sam, let me ask you a question. Sam. Do you watch? I know we talk. Do you watch NXT?
Okay.
Or have you seen anything going on?
I
in NXT recently?
I do.
Okay.
Yes,
so,
I catch up every week.
So
I watch a lot.
Okay. So do you like Stephanie being double champion?
Oh, are we doing this right now, Chris?
Yeah.
No, I don't buy this. I definitely didn't like this decision because I was like, obviously they say we should not listen to that shits, right? I actually also saw the rumor of Julia might be hot and all of that, and I'm like, I don't know, but they did. They are doing title for title, and obviously you would think they would do shenanigans and nobody's gonna win. And I was literally shocked when Stephanie actually did win the match on Tuesday, last Tuesday at Madison Square Garden, the theater. So I was like, okay, so what do we do next? And if this is them taking it off this next Tuesday, I don't know how to obviously because I'm not. This is very difficult to to call because I'm just like looking at it like I understand that Julia and Stephanie are the two people that they are banking on, but she beating Julia this early, came off too. It felt too rushed. It felt more like I don't know how to put it. So now come Tuesday, what are they going to do? Is she losing one and keeping one? I don't know what they are going to do, but whatsoever they need to do, they need to
take one off her. But if you take one off her this early, it still comes off very shit, man. I wasn't a fan of she winning, although I'm proud of the. You heard the story she said during the WWE Ray interview, busted open after dark. Like, I connected so well to that. Like, for if not for anything, like it came off more like the interview, the first interview. What's her name again? This lady right now in AEW wasting away. What's her name?
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them, Sam.
Willow Nightingale, Holly Cameron, Mariah May, Britt Baker. Can I go on? Or
no, don't go on. One of the whisked away in Virtuosa, Diana Perazzo. Like, I can see this was as far back as 2020 when she was released, and that first interview on Busted Open, and Bully, I don't know if it was Bully, I know it was Bully and Dave. I believe it was the Get Yourself Over Monday, and listening to her, literally she cried on that interview where, like, she made me believe. I literally was watching her on a TNA run, all through her TNA run. I was checking her out and everything up until I felt she would go back to WWE. Obviously, she proved herself and all of that up until she went to the other side, and obviously the grass ain't greener anywhere you think, and right now wasting away. So it came off more like the Diana story, because I felt like this is somebody that came from another country, like proved herself and everything, gave everything to and she really acknowledged that she's not a big fan, and she's saying she's not here for the money. It's more of like living the dream. Like, as a fan, Cena Cena win the NXT title and the North American title, being double champion. As a fan, I really did, I really appreciate that. I love that moment for her. But going in and realizing that, she's not carrying two divisions, like even though it's the women's division, I believe it's like two different sections. So she's carrying two different sections. Is she going to? And obviously, English is not the first language, which she made us understood. And I'm like, how am I going to buy more into her? Like, I'm trying to do that with one title, not with two titles. Like, how is she going to sell me it's crazy. It's crazy. I know not all of us are Bukati that will get crazy for us. They need to, I don't know what they need to do with that. And if she's losing this Tuesday, shit, that's some fucked up shit. So I don't know how they're going to do that. Sorry, I can't.
We will see where these ladies go when it comes to Stephanie Bakir match. I had a theory, and it's just a guess, that I don't think Julia's injured. I think, and I've told Chris, and I'm going to repeat it again, I think Julia is going to, and I'm surprised they haven't built it yet, for Stand and Deliver. Wouldn't be surprised if I'm seeing Julia, because we didn't hear from her last Tuesday. We're probably going to hear from her this Tuesday at the Performance Center, where Julia might come out, a little doubt, whatever. And I think Mika Saramura, in her final match before she retires for United States crowd on NXT platform, I think she takes on Julia. And you don't want to convolute the NXT Women's title in that. You want just two ladies, the passing of the torch from Japanese female wrestling for Julia and Mika Saramura. We know where Mika has a big history when it comes to NXT UK, and her unification match with Davenport and Mandy Rose, the entrance. And I think that's the way of saying goodbye to Mika Saramura, trying to put over Julia in the company. And wouldn't be surprised, or dare I say, Julia and Asuka? If it's not Mika Saramura, you give me Julia, Asuka, Stand and Deliver, a returning Asuka. Right now, people are going to want to go now, must watch Stand and Deliver, although they're already talking you into the building, but now they're giving you this marquee matchup. Julia and Mika, or Julia and Asuka, you're off and running, and there's no title involved in there. So we'll see where that goes. That's just me in a theory. I don't think Julia might have a little bumps and bruises, but not enough to remove the NXT title here. I'm going to move on because I want to get to Wednesday's shows. Let me wrap up NXT real quick here. We had Josh Briggs teaming up with Imura, taking on Hank and Tank Leisure. Josh Briggs and Imura wins via pinfall. They continue to elevate the tag teams for NXT for the men, the clothesline from hell, followed by the Imura Splash for the victory. We get a backstage segment. Eddy Thorpe compares himself to Ridge Holland, says that no matter how hard he works, and it's never enough. He dismissed Smythe's trick and for getting more than a sports entertainer. Avery announced that Stephanie will defend both her NXT title championship against Jada Parker next week and Fallon Henley. So they get both. So we find out that's great. Jada Parker later boasts that Jordan Grace messed around and found out and vowed nothing will stop her from becoming the next NXT Women's Champion. So we're probably setting a triple threat later down the road. We'll find out next Tuesday. Let's get right into it. Underground, NXT Underground. Eddy Thorpe, Trick Williams. Trick Williams coming out with a little edge around him. It's all brutal, no ropes encounters with both men brawling outside of the ring. Trick dominates with body slams, heavy strikes, but Thorpe locks in the triangle choke. But Trick Williams powers out, slams Thorpe onto the table at ringside. Williams finally lands a trick shot and unleashes a barrage of hammer fists, forcing the referee to call the match via TKO. Trick wins TKO. But here's where it all got interesting. Post-chaotic match. After the match, Trick Williams calls out Oba Femi, says, "Bring my title out here, sucker." And whose turns out, and the lights go off and erupts into a massive brawl. Oba Femi, Javon Evans comes out, tries to take out Femi with a flying cutter, but standing tall, Trick Williams as the show goes off. But we're leading the bit. We're bearing the lead. The Botchamania 4, who has a name, they finally said their name, Dark Champ something. I forgot their name. Do you got their name, Chris? I don't even know what the hell the Botchamania 4's name was. They mentioned they gave him a name.
Dark States.
There you go. Dark States. There you go.
Dark States. Okay, thank you, Samuel.
Your thoughts. First, let me go to Samuel, Chris. Samuel, Oba Femi, fellow countryman, talk to me. Your thoughts. First and foremost of Oba, Trick, and then Javon.
Well, I might sound a little bit biased. Yeah, but you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. Ever since Vince and his members fucked up NXT, the last time I watched NXT at that time was the first episode of 2.0, where we had the wedding ceremony, we had the debut of Bron Breakker, and all that. Like, that was the first and the last time I did watch that. That I'm like, I'm not dealing with this shit. Like, this comes off. So what is this? And I left. And I believe one of those days I was on X after that was on a random Tuesday. I was on X and I was scrolling and I saw the highlights from NXT, and I immediately, what caught my eye was the name Oba Femi. I'm like, that's a Nigerian name. That's a Lagos boy. I'm like, what? I'm like, immediately I clicked on the highlight. I'm like, no, I want the full story. I went in and I watched the full show, and that was I believe his first match during the breakout tournament. And I'm like, yes. Holy shit. I'm like, holy shit. I was like, this is who, if this boy doesn't succeed, I don't know who will. I'm like, this is who is bringing this book over here. And I'm like, I believe that was the first time I tweet about an NXT product ever since the death of Black and Gold. And I'm like, and I started tweeting on my social media handle, and some of our country people were like, oh shit, we have a Nigerian in NXT. I'm like, bro, you bet we have. So you better go support, you better go follow, you better. So it was, I will be the first one to admit to you, the rise of Oba Femi still shocks me at this point. I'm like, because if someone like me could be a believer from just seeing a clip on X and like, holy shit, I need to check out the show, I can just imagine the effects he has given all of the coaches, the management, and that's why it feels so fast, but it feels so deserved for him, because he, I might be controversial, but he's kind of like Vince McMahon's wet dream. If Vince was still in power and he had his eyes on Oba Femi, by now, Oba would be up in the main roster immediately, because Vince loves himself some big man. He loves himself someone like that can, he would have, Vince would have his hand all over him to get to do something with, and I'm like, shit. So I saw the way they handled him so much, and I'm like, whoa. And in as much as I love the listening, you'll be shocked. Like the negative I had was like the accent. I'm like, okay, so why do they want him to keep the accent? I understand the fact that they are acknowledging him as a Nigerian, and I'm like, okay, should he get to keep the accent? And I'm like, okay, cool. So I like the one thing about the way he handles the accent is it comes off so would I say he adds a whole lot of the sprinkles to hit that. As a Nigerian listening to him, I'm like, okay, bro, I see what you're doing there. And I love that. And I see that people gravitate towards that. And all of a sudden, the who is also part of the whole thing. And watching his matches, I'm like, how long has he been in this game? And I was shocked to hear the stats that he's barely 2 years in this. And is this good? Because I still go back to the triple threat between him, Josh Briggs, and Dijak.
Yeah.
That was like last year. That should be last year. And I always go back to watch that match. I'm like, he has no rights to be this good, this soon. And I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. And as a Nigerian and also as a fan of like NXT, and what NXT Black and Gold was to me as a fan, like I love the rise, I love this, and it's not as if he just is like a one-hit wonder, bro. They put him in a backstage segment with fucking Undertaker. I'm like, what more rub do you give somebody? That's to show that they really want this man to be what they want him to be. And I watched. I'm always very shocked when I get to I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. And as a Nigerian, I'm really, really proud, and I can't wait. You'll be shocked that I'm like, in my mind, Obafemi has conquered NXT. Like, to me, he has nothing more else to do there. Like, I would rather see him go to TNA and conquer some victims. But I want to see what Triple H can do with someone like Obafemi in the main roster, because like this would be his coming out party of handling a Vince McMahon's type of prototype, because this is, Obafemi to me is like Vince McMahon's prototype. The person Vince works so well with big men. Like I love what Triple H did with the likes of Keith Lee, which is wasting away. The likes of who else which other big man do I the sanity guy, Damien. Oh my god, my words fail me now. We even the injured Bronson Reed. Yes, Bronson Reed. We see people how he was able to handle big guys. So can he handle? That was in NXT. So we've not really seen him. We are seeing what he's trying to do with what he was doing with Bronson Reed late last year. We want to see him handle a fresh big man from the beginning. And I believe right now, Obafemi is the one person, the one prototype that he will get to, get his hands on, and let's see what he can do with him. So I'm really excited. I'm not even pumped about what he's doing in NXT. I'm more like waiting on the arms, like, okay, let me see what he can do on the main roster, because that is the pinnacle. That is where he needs to succeed more. That's where he needs to. And I wish they can give him the Gunther treatment. If they can give Oba the Gunther treatment, the sky is the limit. So that's for let me get the fandom down there. For Trick Williams. For Trick Williams, I don't know if I'm the only one that still says, even with all of the things Trick has been able to do, I still see Trick as an entrance, only an entrance. Like I just get into him when his music hits, when he comes out, how he gets the crowd hyped. But when the bell rings, I still find it difficult to connect with him. He still comes off green to me, and I know I've not lifted weight in my life, but I'm not trying to say I'm trying to insult him anyway. But as a fan, watching and seeing how other people have seen other talent and everything come from NXT, I'm sorry to say, he still comes off green to me. You'll be shocked to hear from me that I believe if they could give me the pencil who I'm bringing up to the main roster aside from Obafemi, I can even take Javon Evans and leave Trick still in NXT. For some reason, he still comes off green. It's hard for me to get into his matchups, and I'm like, okay. The last time I really believed more in him was his feud with Carmelo Hayes. Since Carmelo left that place, I can't remember the last time I sucked my teeth in whatever Trick does. Like everything comes off to as if they are trying to really push him out there. He's nothing more than an entrance to me. That's just my opinion as a fan, as like an entrance, and I don't want that for him. Obviously, we are seeing what we are going through with Jey Uso. Yeah, Monday Night Raw every week. We are asking for more from Jey. So if they bring him up, he will suffer the same fate in my own perspective. So I don't know what Trick needs to do to make me a believer in him, but his in-ring work to me still comes off very green. I don't know why I feel that way, but that's just my opinion, honest opinion. And
that's interesting. I've never heard anyone say that.
And for Javon Evans, I love what he does. Like I see anytime I watch anything he does, like I feel like I'm seeing somebody trying to prove a point every week. Like he tries to make you believe in him, make you believe in his work, make you believe. Like I see how I really gravitated to him was his match with Randy. I've watched the kid before. I'm calling him a kid. Come on, Randy. I've watched his match leading up to Randy's match, but seeing him fuck up that move and see his face, his facial expression, how sorry he felt. Like I felt more emotionally attached to him, and Ethan Page has done a magnificent job in raising his stocks for me as a fan with his feud with Ethan Page this past couple of months. But for me, generally for Javon, I'm just so excited to always see what he gets to do out there every week. And with these three black stars coming together to see what they can do, like I can't wait. I know I can vouch for Obafemi. I can vouch for Javon Evans, but for Trick needs to. I don't know what he needs to. I can't really sit down and tell you I know what Trick needs to do, but I believe I know for sure that I want Trick to do more. Because right now I'm not sold. If you bring Trick up to the main roster right now for me, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not sure I'm going to get into him. He might just be one of those people like Trick. Yeah, that's my take on Trick Williams.
I'm surprised. All right, I'm surprised. Chris, you want to elaborate on that? The floor is yours.
No, I'm not gonna elaborate too much because we got to get into Wednesday night stuff and Thursday night stuff and Friday night stuff. But there's options they could do with this. There's options they could do with it. They could throw them all into a triple threat, or they could have Trick versus Javon Evans to see who fights Oba staying with. But that's all I got. Samuel nailed it on the
head. Pretty much covered it. Yeah. I just there's just for the match wise, that's just two scenarios that they're gonna do. Triple threat or winner faces Oba at Sandwood. All right. Here's one thing I said. Everybody's talking about Trick is missing something. There's a edgier Trick Williams, heelish or no nonsense that wants to punch you in your mouth and like, yo, I ain't nothing about whoop that. I'm gonna whoop that Trick, but not with the smile, with the woo-ee. I'm going out there, and it's more of a serious note. And when you got these four individuals coming out trying to make a name for themselves, wouldn't be surprised if Trick Williams is the mastermind to align themselves with those four individuals and have his group, because he's not. In the ultimate swerve will be Javon Evans, but Javon Evans has been getting beat down by them. So I could see Trick Williams being the mastermind, the leader of that group, and getting those guys under the wing, because he did have that interaction with Dion Lennox, where Lennox was like, he looked at him like, and he said, yeah, dog, you get with it or get out of the way. And I don't know, I can see where that kind of put them both together, where he got the group there. Those to me, I call them the level up leftovers. Here you go. Tony says, I don't think Trick will be called up. I agree with Sam. It's kind of like another Jey Uso with the entrance, the whoop that Trick, and also the performance center. really plays up and helps him get that whoop that trick over. But here's the one thing I want to give you a rebuttal to it. Just remember that SmackDown when Trick Williams came out in Miami. The reception there was off the chart when he came out and attacked Melo, and just remember that part there. I think if he goes main roster, I still think they could work with him. He'll have a different set of coaches where I think they might unlock something different from Trick Williams, but we shall see on that. That will be NXT. We'll find out what goes off, what happens on NXT. Let's go into Wednesday night, where I think a lot of you guys are chomping on the bit on a Wednesday night. Wednesday night from a blizzard, snow.
Worst Dynamite ever.
John Moxley gets nailed in the back in a street fight in a cold blizzard, Omaha, Nebraska. Let's get first and foremost. I'm going to read you the card, but I know where we're all going to go first, of course. We're all going to go right into Mercedes Moné and Billy Starks. No, I'm just kidding. Well, or another title eliminator for another tournament, or Will Hairspray pointing at the sign again against the one and only Tough AR Fox. Oh, I can't wait. That's going to bring seats to the TV scene. No, let's go right into the street fight that of a main event of a pay-per-view that no one really wanted to see. The street fight between John Moxley and Cope. If you missed it, I'm going to give you a minute here to look away, to go get a hot dog, but here's the video. All right. And then, of course, Willow useless, and the referee comes out to try to pull the nails on the back. Gentlemen, we saw Dave LaGreca go on a rant. Says, if you don't like it, don't watch this crap. Because I have, unlike me, I have to sit here and watch 3 hours of crappy SmackDown. Well, if you don't need to watch it, don't watch it either. Unlike your unlike your radio show on Busted Open on satellite radio, some of us have to sit on and listen to 3 crappy hours of you and Nick Nemeth suck a turd each and every Thursday. So your thoughts here, guys. I'm gonna go with you to Chris. You said, what was your thoughts? You're the AEW lover.
This was the worst Dynamite, and this was even the worst street fight I've ever seen. If I wanted to see matches like this, I'd take my ass off the street and go watch GCW. What was this? What was this? This wasn't even the main event either. You had Megan Bayne versus Chris Statlander for nothing as your main event. At least end the show with that bullshit that you did. Sorry for my language, guys, because I don't like doing it, but no. I'm sick and tired of my favorite wrestling company insulting all of us and making us seem like we don't know what wrestling is. This was absolute bullshit from top to finish. But let's talk about what we just watched. What we just watched was the worst spot in a street fight I've ever seen. There's no need for that. This is 2 old men going out there because, Edge has never really done anything like this in his career. And we've seen it because he did not fit in the street fight style fight. Moxley, I don't see the pleasure of Moxley doing shit like this. He loves to do stuff. Why? Why would you why was that spot needed? Why was that AEW's offer right now? I had enough of John Moxley in AEW, and I agree. And I'm getting to that. Why is he continue to be world champion? Does he continue to be in the main spotlight? Both of them, they're not helping your company. As much as I love Edge and as much as I love Adam Copeland, he's not helping you draw ratings. He's not helping you sell tickets. People wanted to leave that main event at Revolution. Revolution, which last year was your biggest pay-per-view of the year. Now this year, people didn't even want to stay for the main event. To their eye, I knew people in that arena in LA, and they told me that Ospreay and Fletcher was the main event, and that people knew what no one wants to watch this. Even the diehard of diehards don't give a shit about this main event, about this match, about this story. They could have ended it at Revolution. Instead, they gave us the worst street fight on a free TV show. That was bad. From the card start to finish sucked. And then you had Megan Bayne versus Chris Statlander in a match that everybody knew that Chris Statlander was going to win because they don't put over new talent. And then Mercedes, you talked about Mercedes, right? Who else does AEW or Ring of Honor need to bring up on that roster for her to squash? They didn't even let her and Billy Starks marinate into something. No, she went out there already and screwed her. That's why, look, the match was good. I'm not discrediting Mercedes for her being a wrestler. I'm discrediting her for what she brings to AEW. She literally puts herself. She cannot get into a storyline, just like Britt Baker, right? That's probably the one women's match everybody wanted to see in this company. The two top women in this company. And what did they do? They gave it to us with like a not even a month build. They had Mercedes go out there and put herself over in one of the worst matches I've ever seen.
Brother,
I can't get behind Mercedes putting over talent or squashing talent so fast. She doesn't even let them get a chance to marinate and have some matches with other people to build her up. She automatically says, Tony, let me fight this person, and she beats them, and then they get lost in the dust. So I had a problem with this show head to toe. The Moxley spot was the worst spot in a street fight. It was the worst street fight. You don't need blood and bullshit like that to make a street fight believable. I'm sorry. This show sucked. One of the worst dynamites of the year. Way to go, Tony. Way to go. Way to go. This is why I have an AEW tag on my car. I have AEW merch more than WWE. I'm about to switch all that shit to TNA. I'm done with that shit. I'm done with this show. That was bad. And then people want me to watch Collision? Samuel, you want me to watch Collision? We were talking on the phone the other night, and you said you don't watch Collision? And you want me to waste a Saturday night to watch shit after what we just saw, Samuel? Give me a break, buddy. I love you, but come on. No way in hell. No way I'm sitting through another 2 hours of Dynamite or Collision after what I just saw on Dynamite.
Interesting. Samuel, the floor is yours. But oh my God, I can't wait to rebuttal on or to have a conversation about this, because wait a minute, I just got word from the back. I've got someone wants to say something before Samuel goes. Here she goes. She says it ain't gonna work for her, brother. That's not gonna work for me, brother. No. So Chris, Mercedes Hogan wants to put her creative card and say it ain't gonna work for her.
Before Samuel goes, hopefully Mercedes, if AEW comes to my city and I'm there, hopefully she doesn't get me kicked out of the building like she did with JD. All right, go.
Samuel, your thought, bro. Your thought here with the first and foremost the match.
You see this?
Yes.
These were my notes from this show, and
wow.
I still had this. These were the positives. These are the negatives. I'm like, where do I begin? Where do I begin with these people? Because you sit back and you in a culture here, there's a term they say about people that have money, and you see that they are wasting it, and they use obviously there's a broken English part of us, a pidgin English, where they say money misroad, like money missed the wrong person, like you should have not gone to this other person, like you had better people to go to. And that's how I look at the investment that is AEW right now, presently, because this was not the story 2-3 years ago, even let's say 4 years ago. This was not the story. I'm like, where did we go wrong? Like, how did it just fall off so much that we have to deal with some of these bullshits? And you look at a show like that, and I'm like, you are struggling. You could barely get 5,000 people on your weekly TV, and you are richer than TKO combined. You are all the executives on WWE board of directors combined. You are richer than them, and I'm like, how do you still get to deal with this bullshit? And you are paying. I mean, you got Okada, you got of goodness, Okada, and he's so useless. And I'm like, what? You are paying him all these millions to come out here and say one thing, bitch. Is that what you paid him for? And I'm like, he's not even drawing shit. I'm not even understanding what the fuck are we doing here. The only investment right now from Tony Khan that looks as if it has a future that can even pay back what this man is putting in is nothing more than Will Ospreay. But I'm like, even at some point, I don't know how I'm going to still, bro. I couldn't look at this show and come out. I'm like, I tried to be so positive. I watched this show full. I watched the full show because I'm like, I made a commitment with Chris. I'm like, Chris, we are gonna do this show. Like, I don't care what this man puts out there. I'm going to sit down. I'm gonna watch this show, and I'm gonna take notes, and I'm gonna have my takes on this because it's crazy. But I can't cut them. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like I'm poisoning myself. And you will now come on X or you tune on your on podcast and you get things like, oh, if you don't like it, tune off. Bitch, tune off what? You promised me a pro wrestling show, not an indie fuck. Like, what are we doing? Why are you wasting your resources? Don't you like your investment? Are you tired? Are you tired of making money? Like, what is your motivation? How do you wake up every morning and you put on that and you come back home and you can't sleep? How can you sleep when? And right now, I don't even know. Like, I need to even call out people that are working for the company. We know we have good old JR. Jim Ross is on that fucking. Jim Ross is working for that company. We have a lot of people that are working behind the scenes for the same company that we are all sitting down here and like, what the fuck? What happened there? Like, how would you sit there and tell me that you sat down there and you came up with all of this shit? And talking about the street fight, like, no, why? Your fans told you, the people you put out the shows told you. Come on, with the your fans told you that was the worst main event they could see, and you gave it to us 2 weeks later. Like, for some reason, I'm like, this was if I could even stomach this, but I'm like, why are we getting this again? When we complained that it was the worst thing for the pay-per-view last week, just a few weeks ago, and you're giving to me again, and I'm like, an emotionless match, no fucking emotion. Like, I couldn't get into Adam Copeland. He says he's calls him Cope. I couldn't get into John Moxley. I couldn't get into anything. The only emotion I had was fear for the concern of well-being of these two people, because I'm like, they will literally go out there. I'm like, Cope, you just came back from almost ending your career with that the stunts you pulled from with Malachi Black on that steel cage. You just literally came back and I'm like, oh shit, this man should not even kill himself over here. And I'm like, hey, you see Moxley go out there every week to kill himself. For what? For what? Like, this is not out of hate. This is out of concern. I'm concerned for that man. He might kill himself just to please the boss. And you tell me this for the sickles. This were the best wrestle. To kill yourself? That was the shit. That was the shit. Like, I could not sit there and watch that. I could not sit there and watch that man kill himself. This was how I was watching the show, the match. Oh my goodness. That was how I was watching it, because I'm like, I couldn't even. The moment they tried to take those nails off his back, and you could literally see, and then you have people like Dave tell you, oh, that proof that was Mox trying to show you that yes, what we do is real. Bitch, did we not tell you that? Don't you know what we are watching? Don't you know what we are watching? Why does Mox feel the need to tell me it's real? Come on, make me. Is this his way of making me believe that wrestling is real? by killing yourself, having nails stuck to your back. If this is what he calls making it real for the fans, then he has it all wrong. Right now, if I was Renee, I would have that man locked in his room, and I would tell him, if you want to die out there and leave me and this kid, you better rethink your decision, because it's messed up. Remember when we were complaining every Moxley's match, he bleeds. Every Moxley's match, he bleeds bucket. It's as if somebody was able to talk about it, like, bro, you need to turn it down a bit. And he's not bleeding, he's not doing the bleeding too much now. Now he's about killing himself, puncturing himself, nails stuck to your back. I mean, thank God for the referee, because we are useless, almost literally tore that man's skin off his back. Thank God the referee took charge and was able to take it out safely. And you could see the camera panning there, and you saw. I'm like, bro, is this what you've turned the company to? Okay, this is where now I should understand that every time I tune into AEW, I'm not coming here for emotions. I'm not coming here for storylines. I'm not coming here for emotional pool. I'm here to watch people kill themselves for my entertainment. This is why I should tune in. And does it sound good? And you look at that roster, that man has almost 500 employees, wrestlers alone. And every week he takes out the old and polishes up and use them. And then 2 weeks later, throw them off. AR Fox only comes in when they need somebody to take a pinfall. When last did AR Fox mean something? Every time I see AR Fox advertise for a match, I'm like, okay, so we need somebody to come and take some beatings and take the fall. No emotional connection with anybody in that company. Nobody in that company that I can sit down here and tell you, well, I can't wait to. I don't wake up on a Wednesday morning telling myself, oh, I can't wait for Dynamite to come on so that I can watch Tony Storm come in there and use words like cons and fuck and orgy, and like, is that what we are we are all about now? And I'm like, I don't know the morale with the employees now. How do they go to work? Like, how do you sit home and then they call you up and like, oh, you have a match on Dynamite? So right now you just pick up superstars, you mix them up, you just cook them. It's like fast food. No need for seasoning, no need to check the ingredients. Just mix it up, and just take it. That's what I have to offer you for today. And then you now want me, Chris? Sorry, I'm also right now. Dynamite is AW is the joke of the wrestling industry. Right now, I tune in there to watch and laugh.
You're not going to offend me, brother. I know that. You're not going to offend me. I told you this on our conversation the other day. Everything that you're telling, I kept, and people are probably surprised that I feel the way. And people probably feel surprised because like you do like the company. I know you do. We've been friends for a long time. But we have to, at this point, Samuel, and because we're such good fans of the product, we can't be silent. We can't sit here and pretend that what they're giving us is good. And we can't sit here and pretend that what they're giving us is going to, in the future, be beneficial. Because I'm done pretending. I'm done. I pretended for 4 years. I pretended. I'm not doing it anymore. I mean, I didn't pretend because it was good. But especially these last 2.5 years, I pretended that shit was going to get better. Stuff was going to get better. This episode, and I know we're talking a little bit too much about it, and I want to give the floor to Kev, but this Dynamite episode did it for me. It did it. It really did it for me. Not be invested into the future of this company. And it's
so crazy. And I sit there, you know, the one that takes me out, the one that knocks me off the one that knocks me out is you hear that the old man there. Oh, this is great. This is great for AEW, the best. Oh, this is the best you can. I'm like, Tony Schiavone, shut the fuck up. Bro, that was.
Thank you.
I mean, please, right now, I don't even I don't even want. Why is Tony on the call? Why is he on?
Thank you.
He makes it worse. He sits there and prays You are seeing bullshit. You are there telling me how great it is. Oh, this is the best wrestling company in the world. Oh, this is he doesn't say nothing. He doesn't contribute to the match. All he sits there is be a hype man. How great! Oh, that was the best match. Every match is the best match for that man. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I wonder how Taz and Excalibur would be as a two-man team. Like, I can stomach. Sometimes I feel the frustration coming from Taz. Everything is a joke to Tony Schiavone. Everything is trying to be a hype man. I'm like, bro, are you not part of the executive? Why can't you focus on trying to check paperwork? Who is being paid? Focus on that one. Leave the commentary team for people. And I'm right now. I'm like, oh shit! I have to deal with him on Saturdays because I'm watching college, and he's the one on the call. So he's able to kick out Kevin Kelly. Your payroll. You can't use him, but you want to stick with. Are you looking for who praise? Who?
Well, breaking news. I got some breaking news for All Elite Wrestling. Breaking news. Due to Jon Moxley's spot and Moxley's wrestling, they've secured themselves a new sponsor for All Elite Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, Stay Freeze Classic. Now, when you got a lot of bleeding and you have a Moxley, you got Stay Freeze. Yes, official sponsor of All Elite Dynamite. A 30% absorbent to stop the long, heavy flow of bleeding. So Jon Moxley, the face of Stay Freeze maxi pads on Max. Oh, baby. Holy shit. We got a nice one. Nice. There we go. Wow. Man. He makes women's ovaries cringe all over the world. Every time they see a Moxley match, they start feeling like it's their time of month. Because, all you see is nothing but bleeding from Jon Moxley. Holy shit. My goodness. Hey, listen.
I feel so bad for someone like MJ. I'm like,
here's what I'm gonna say about Jon Moxley.
I'm like, bro,
it's a hardcore. It's a street fight. It's supposed to be. The fact that they bought a spike bat or a spike piece of wood, doing some matches, some Paradise ships, some hard table spots, ladders, all that's all great. The problem we're not going to say, was it really smart? Was it, no, was it really stupid? You don't know how you're going to land on a suplex on that particular weapon. That goes a couple inches into your spinal cord. You're going to get a rupture of spinal cord. Listen, Chris Bay is trying to recover from an injury, giving his love and life to the professional wrestling to entertain us. And he didn't go looking for a hardcore match. It was an accident. And meanwhile, you mark it by making this and getting suplex on a board with spikes. And I know the other idiot on Busted Open, if you don't like it, don't turn it on. That's stupid. You could avoid it when not taking the suplex. It's dumb, especially toward your back and your neck area. If you want to get it on your knee, on your leg, all right. And yeah, even still stupid because you could rupture an artery in your leg, all that stuff. Like you said, this is a GCW independent wrestling death match, whatever. But there was no story behind what you knew. Cope wasn't going to beat the winner of Moxley. And again, Moxley tries to find or chase the hug in professional wrestling so much. The same for Big E. Absolutely, Tony. He's trying to chase the hug because commentary wants to tell you he drove 11 hours in the blizzard to be here to do that spot. Listen, Mox, the people before all this Death Rider angle that you're in, they loved you because whenever something happened with All Elite Wrestling, you always came and unselfishly put the company on your back. From the CM Punk situation, you gave away your vacation to go back and wrestle. They should know that. You don't have to go out there and chase the hug and put like Samuel was saying, you have a wife and a daughter and children where you do get compromised. Tony Khan would just move on to the next best thing, the next wrestler, and you're off you go. So I question this on that spot, but the hardcore match and the street fight, whatever you want to call it, I'm not going to question it because that's something that Moxley does, Cope, but just that spot the suplex on that spike was not called for. That's all I got to say about that. That wasn't needed. The rest of the match, the rest of the spears and all the different things, table spots, chairs, the convoluted interference from Willa Useless to Cardio to Pat to Mira to Nick Wayne, Kick Sabian, which also, what the hell was going on with that? That felt like a lot of cooks putting their ladles into the soup. Like, okay, we got too many people stirring here the pot. What direction are we going? We're serving a chowder, or we're just serving a stew. It felt like that.
It felt like that was their own their own style of the Avengers end game we got from last year with Cody and everything. And I'm like, bro, I even questioned they served me on Dynamite. All in as much as I was so concerned for those two superstars. I'm like, this was able to intake than what you served at the pay-per-view. I was like, I wish this was even for the pay-per-view, excluding that spot. That spot that was crazy. That was gnarly. But with everybody coming in with all the people, and I'm like, this will sound crazy. When Nick Wayne came out, I'm like, what the fuck is he doing out here? Why is he here? I'm like, the one that had the face off with your so-called dad from patriarchy. Just why is it? What's that? What was happening? I'm like, bro, does anyone even think of taking notes of what they did last week? I know you say you book week to week now. Do you even take note of what you did last week so that you won't come out here and confuse us the next week? Because I'm like, right now I should see Nick Wayne getting mad at Christian. Why is he coming out there to? And then all of a sudden you now have FTR getting mad at Cope. Copeland. I can't call him that shit. You get FTR getting Dax. I'm like, Dax getting mad at him. You left this man. Okay, yes. So you guys were back there, seeing all these guys. Where the fuck were you guys? And you have they were
shaving themselves. Samuel, they were shaving themselves in the back. That's why they didn't come out to help them out. They were too busy shaving themselves.
Well, where is meaning we should have another sponsor. What's this people called? We need to get Dax and the FTR another sponsor where they can have more shaving done while their friend is struggling out there, and you could not come out and you come out here and do it. Why are you getting mad at him? Where the fuck were you? I'm like, all this shit doesn't even make sense at some point. I'm like, bro, I don't know what. I think the FTR were at the Blue Oysters. They were at the Blue Oyster Bar. Google it. You'll know what I mean.
It sucks to see what FTR has become too, but yeah, I don't have anything else to add on Dynamite. That was I never want to see that on my Wednesday nights again. If they dare to show me that, if I get Adam and if we get Moxley and Copeland, again, I'm taking a break from AEW. And I've never done that in the 5 years. I've never done that in the 5 years in the existence of the company. I've done it for WWE.
Well, we had the main event, and everybody says, "Why was she in the main event?" I'll tell you why. Here's the reason. Look at those two. That's the reason why she's in the main event. Megan Tits in the match, of course. Well, according to Tony Storm, calls her sugar tits. But takes on Statlander in the main event, where again, wrong placement. We said it here time and time again. Tony Storm, Mariah May should have been the main event at Revolution, because you were in fucking Hollywood when you had in Los Angeles when you have a Hollywood ending. You put it with those two, but no, out in Nebraska where people were going to put it in the middle of the match. The street fight. The street fight should have been the main event here. Again, not here at the end of Dynamite for Megan Vane and Statlander in a match where all you're doing is bringing in the next hot new item to heat them up, and then you're going to feed her to Tony Storm to lose to do what? Off to Collision you go. I mean, that's what it looks like for Megan Bayne. The same thing for the great. All of a sudden, we didn't even talk about Mr. Charisma, Mike Speedball Bailey, who, by the way, is going to go to the finals with Ricochet. So Tony Khan don't know what the fudge to do, because now he's got Ricochet, who I just bought here 6 months ago, and my new hot toy in the one and only Mike Speedball Bailey. Well, they're both going to go to the pay-per-view in a triple threat. Why? You didn't even. Why put him in the Why put him in the tournament? Because you got to have a win. You got to show us he's got to lose. It just doesn't make sense.
He has nothing for Speedball. Nothing. He brought him in with nothing. He brought him in so NXT couldn't get him.
This might sound very controversial, but when I heard of him, that he signed with AEW, or he's going to sign with AEW, I literally questioned that. I'm like, bro, you were with TNA and they have partnership there. Even if you did not want to resign with TNA, is this not the best opportunity for you to move to NXT and go get that money? WWE is not even right now. WWE is not even about the money, because I believe Tony pays better, right? And
yes,
it's more about the exposure. It's more about you harnessing your craft. It's more about you trying to get yourself out there. I know right now NXT has a whole lot of. Right now they are trying to struggle between the Nile people with the college guys, with the indie guys, there's a whole lot of brackets that make up NXT. I'm like, he will fit perfectly in there. We will try to know who Speedball Mike Bailey is outside the great pro wrestler that he is. But as when I saw him last Wednesday, I'm like, okay, oh well, he go get that money, go get that money. I'm like, I hope he knows for sure that him coming there is not about him. It's not going to matter anything. It's not going to matter at all in that company. Let's give it 3 months. He will be on Dynamite for let's give it 3 months. That he will be relegated to Ring of Honor, or as worst as Collision, or opening match, pre-show, doing pay-per-views. That's what he will. But he was gonna get that money. So if Mike is gonna be okay, let me go get that money for a couple of years, and I'm still going to be good by the time I move to. Good for him. Go get that money. But I still question the boss in Tony Khan in terms of signing talent. You have the Ricochet. You have all the luchadors. They are doing the same thing as what Ricochet is doing. You have the greatest to do it in Will Ospreay. They are doing the same thing. Why do you feel the need to continually bring in people, sign in people, when we have leagues of people? He just resigned Danny Garcia. And what is he doing? Holding the TNT title and not doing shit. When last did I...
That's what he's doing, Kev. He's
so you
signed
him to win the...
Never mind us. We're being clowns.
To hit the hips. So what the fuck happened to the scapegoat? Where is he? Where is the scapegoat? Whatever happened to Hook? Was he not the hottest thing since sliced bread? The youngest kid you had over there. What is he doing right now? Why is everybody dying? Everybody that comes up, they die. Everybody that comes up, they die. I mean, even the one that gets me the one that I'm like, what really happened there? How did it get so bad? You have so right now, Max Caster is out there on his own, and you break them up when you know that Max was the star of that team. Them together makes it the best, and you split them up. And is he going to Caesar alone? It's not. He's not coming out as the best wrestler, but he's not doing shit. What? Like, how does it? Okay, they say he doesn't sleep. They say he doesn't sleep. How does he get to live with himself when he gets to look at Well, I'm still going to watch. I'm going to watch up until I'm being told it is the company is folding up. But I'm going to watch just for let me just see how somebody wakes up.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. if you're a musician or a comedian, let's play one of those two, either or. And I'm asking you, and I'm your agent, hey, I got a booking for you. You could go onto Madison Square Garden or the Titanic. Knowing what you know, would you book yourself as an artist on the Titanic? That's why I feel that, but they're paying good. They're paying really good money, and that Speedball Mike Bailey.
Good. They're paying good. Damn. They're paying. It's as if everybody that goes there, everybody has, except you are Swerve and Mercedes and Will Ospreay. Those are like the three people that I see.
Let me ask this question to you, Samuel. Let me ask you this question. Swerve Strickland last year was the hottest thing. He had the company going for the first 3 months, but then you decided that Bryan Danielson, brother, had creative control to take the title. Now he's not there. Was that the right decision to take the title off of Swerve Strickland? You could have Swerve Strickland still be a champion to now, where now it looks like everybody wants Will Hairspray at the All In show to win. So if you're gonna disrespect Swerve again, if he takes this title off of Moxley, right, and then a couple of weeks or let's say 2 months, a couple of weeks later, he's gonna lose it at All In because you have to give Ospreay the title. So so you really want to be called? So then this is the way I'm gonna look at Swerve. Is it really that great a position? You're a transitional dude, or you are a placeholder transitional champion, where you should be more than that because you are more.
And it's so crazy to look at it in this angle, because I'm like, at that time, like I was like, are they really going to be moments? Like I'm not going to lie to you. The moments the referee counted, tell you, I can't even remember is the moment where Brianna came in, the daughter came in, and the came in, like where we had that's the reason I remember from that. Let me give him the Sting send off. Let me give him that. Let me capture that moment. That was beautiful. Like that gave me flashback to WrestleMania 30. I love that. But in terms of company decision, in terms of business decision, taking that belt off Swerve was the wrong move. In hindsight, looking at it right now, oh shit, that was one of the most fucked up shit, because it's as if they have not recovered from that shit since then. They haven't. And I'm even asking a question. I'm like, if you knew for sure that Brian was leaving, like we all knew he was leaving, if he said he was leaving in October, what happened? Why couldn't we find a way to weave Swerve back in to take back his title?
Yes.
Even if it was for him to turn heel whatsoever. Obviously, we lost Swerve when he was the bad guy, the baddest guy out there. Like we loved him he showed the personality. So like I wouldn't have mind even if Swerve would have had to do something crazy just to get his belt back. I will understand as a human being. I'm like, bro, you have to get your stuff back. But then putting this belt on Moxley, and I'm like, oh shit, I know Mox has saved this company.
Yeah.
Multiple times with the Punk situation, the others, like he's so much for it. But right now, even him himself should understand that this shit ain't working for months. This company is as if they tied something. It keeps dragging it down. They are dragging down, and I'm going to. I'll be so shocked if Swerve wins at Dynasty, because I don't
think he will.
Swerve ain't winning shit.
No, he ain't winning it.
I will be so shocked, because them Swerve winning is Tony, Moxley, and anybody that has been part of this storyline admitting that, oh, they were wrong. And for them, well, they are not going to admit that shit. They're going to keep this thing going until they get to what they wanted to do. And if they say this is any all in is going to be. And that's so fun.
Yeah.
Like,
this is where Prince Nana turns on Swerve and cost him a title. This is where Prince Nana takes the turn finally, because they teased that it didn't make sense on the pay-per-view Revolution. We will see on that there, and we will see. We still got two more wrestling shows to cover real quick. Not to speedball it ahead, but we'll take a hit of Tony Khan speedball to go ahead. We'll try to make sense of it. But again, we'll find out what happens here on Dynamite. They have 2 nights tonight, Collision and Disaster on Sunday. So it's they're revamping Rampages and 2-hour specials there called Slam Dunk Sunday and Slam Dunk Saturday. Okay, good luck with that. I don't know if anyone's going to be interested and invested on watching those two. You know, they look like they're going to be some missed free throws. I think Shaquille O'Neal has a better free throw percentage than they're going to do with viewers on both of those nights there. So good luck on that one. Good luck. And I know Tony Storm closed a good promo cut at the end, but that's not the last thing you want to remember. I think, you know, that woman got overshadowed with the back to the back for Moxley, but we'll see. We'll talk about some good wrestling on Wednesday nights. Evolve. I want to go real quick through there on the Performance Center Evolve. We didn't do the watch on this week because we had Knicks basketball, but Brittany Reese defeats Mason Holiday. Now, Mason Holiday, I'm going to tell you guys again, keep an eye on Mason Holiday. Just her presentation, her look, she fits the box. And WWE NIL continues to bring great NIL athletes. And for those that give a lot of slack to Triple H and WWE for not booking or not giving chances to the Black community and wrestlers, Mason Holiday, my goodness, she checks the box. Not just because of her skin tone, but just because of her athleticism and her look. My goodness, and of course Kaylee Ray continue. You know, we saw her on Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. Kaylee Armstrong, the star right now of Evolve, defeat Hayes Jamerson, and of course we saw Tyreek and Tyson DuPont in a match. They defeat Taylor Wilde and Darko Knox. Swipe Right confronted Wilder and Knox. Crucifino beats Javier Bernard, former WWE and Level Uppers, now part of the Evolve. Great to see them. Crucifino had an intense stare off with Harlem Lewis and Carver. So those are the big hitters there. But I like the attitude change for Brittany Reese, me watching Brittany Reese on there. And, of course, some great moves, some great matches. They continue to be very impressive. We had the Gallus Boys defeating Sam Holiday and Jordan Oasis, some independent wrestlers. So we see the Gallus Boys out there to help bring up forward the Tomorrow wrestlers, and of course Evolve did a phenomenal job there. I saw the episode this morning and right before we went on the air. I always enjoy it. We'll move on here. Let's go to Thursday night from El Paso, Texas. TNA from El Paso, Texas. A lot of situation happened. We open up with a promo. Marsha Slamovich talks about her victory as Sacrifice, being ready to defend against Tessa Blanchard. Interrupts her to state that she's the best, but while being interrupted, JC Jane attacks Marsha from behind, and security breaks it up. Santino Marrera comes out and announces a match between Marsha Slamovich and JC Jane. So JC Jane and Tessa is banned from ringside. So JC Jane crossing the line for Marsha Slamovich. I got a hot statement. I'm going to make it real quick. I think JC Jane should be one not to beat Marsha, give her a tough battle, and I would like to see Tessa get someone in front of her, you know, try to prolong the Tessa Marsha matchup for at least a couple months. I wouldn't mind having Lola Vice and Tessa go face to face, because Lola Vice is MMA ready. She's a former MMA Bellator fighter. Also, not doing nothing right now on the NXT roster. Tessa, and you don't know if you want to get Lola Vice that more babyface heat, and she backfists, and everybody wants to see her backfist and slap the shit out of Tessa. And I think that will work for both TNA, NXT, and you could put that. You could have it for the next upcoming premium live event, or all the way to Los Angeles, and then you can have Tessa and Marsha for later on. You know, push it, put obstacles where for Slammiversary. What are your thoughts, Chris, on that?
No, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I like how we're not going to get the match right away, because I think it's going to be a really big pay-per-view match. But Tessa continues to beat into that heat crowd. I think people are heavy on Masha, but they're even more heavy on her now because she's a legit fighter who could definitely kick the shit out of Tessa Blanchard in a real fight, of course. But JC Jane, this is good for her. You know, we joke around about her being a bootleg Britt Baker. But she needed this to stand out because she's always in the back, looking like a bootleg Britt Baker, not doing anything. So now she's standing. She goes out there. She attacks the the TNA Women's Champion. I mean, she left a big, no pun intended, she left a big impact right there. For her, because I was shocked. I didn't even see that. I was like, whoa, like they're giving her some spotlight. So, and Tessa seemed like she's like, so maybe we see them team, but I like your scenario a little more. I would like her to get in the way of Tessa, and then we'll see how that goes from there. But yeah, it was solid.
Yeah, definitely. And would you like to see Lola Vice in TNA for
yes,
for a couple?
Absolutely. Like I said, she's not doing anything. I would like for her to do what Cora Jade did. Like do a couple weeks and then maybe have a pay-per-view match and then boom, like you said, set up Tessa and have her lose to Masha. Tessa comes out. All right, boom, they fight at Slammiversary or some shit like that.
I like it. I like it because it gives something for and also more microphone work, a different audience for Lola Vice, a different experience, different coaching from Gail Kim, Lance Armstrong, Ace Steel, Tommy Dreamer. Listening to those veterans also helps. Maybe that could unlock something for former Lola Vice or see something different. And I'm not saying that, sometimes you want a different voice in the ear for Lola, and I wouldn't mind seeing that for Lola to go there, or even on Nikita Lyons, people, Nikita Lyons as well. But I don't know though for Tessa, we'll give, if they want to keep Nikita that babyface rub, but I think it fits more Lola Vice personally. I think because of the background of Lola Vice with her fighting,
I think Lola Vice would work better as a heel.
I agree with you, but I'm just throwing names out there of ladies that are not being used there. And this TNA card had a lot of women featured, and that's great. Great because we also saw backstage with Gina Miller with Zaya Brookside, where Rosemary interferes or comes out, says she has a partner, get a mystery partner, and so forth, setting up for something later on the match. But here's one thing I wanted to highlight was First Class Penthouse with Chavo Guerrero Jr. So Chavo Guerrero,
that was good.
That was cool. Good to see him. He looks great, by the way. Chavo Guerrero
Jr. took a shot at Dominic's, or took a shot at Ray's wife.
Oh.
You didn't see that?
Oh. No, I missed that. I'll be honest with you. I was doing the Nick game.
Well, that's right. We were doing the next game.
Nobody. Yeah.
I saw so he was like something about Dominic, or do you think Eddie's Dominic, or could you be Dominic's dad or something like that? And Chavo's like, I mean, Dom's mom has been around with everyone, right? And then the crowd was kind of like, do we pop for that? So he basically said that Ray's wife sleeps around with everybody. Has slept around with everybody. So we don't know who Dominic's dad is. Basically.
I mean, okay, all right. Interesting, it's savage there. But we get the Aztec Warriors come out because Frankie Kazarian aligned himself with First Class. Looks like they're going to have a triple threat match because the Aztec Warriors were now part of the TNA roster, as well as Octagon Jr. So for them being part of the Luchadors continue to on the burst on the scene here in 2025 all across all of professional wrestling. And of course, I loved it. That was a good segment there, which I didn't see that part, but I see this match here: Mike Santana versus Mustafa Ali. Your thoughts there, Chris? I know you're a big Santana fan.
I liked it. Their obviously their match at Sacrifice was way better, but I love what they're doing. I mean, they're extending the storyline a little bit. We'll see how it plays out. I think they'll have one more match, and then hopefully that leads to, like we always been talking about for months. Hopefully this is Santana's kind of beginning to his road at Slammiversary
to the world title. We'll see on that for Mike Santana or Moose's title. We'll never know on
which
that.
One?
There.
Don't matter.
Yeah, whichever one. Nick Nemeth addresses his action at Sacrifice. Nick takes credit for TNA being back and says that the Hardys snuck in and took the spot. He declares himself and Ryan the greatest brother tag team in the world. But Leon Slater interrupts, and all this leads into a brawl, but he gets laid out because my big brother laid Leon Slater out, and we look like they're going to have a match up and coming for Leah Slater and Nick Nemeth. We get Rosemary with her mystery partner Savannah Evans. She teams up against the Chongqing China's own Li Ying Li and Zaya Brookside. We resorts with Zaya. Lee and Zaya defeats Rosemary and Slamovich versus pinfall with the Thunderstruck after Rosemary accidentally sprays Savannah with the green mist. So Savannah Evans got missed She got spat on. She got the jizz all over the green one, all over her face there. We move on. It's going to be an elegant TNA Tag Team Celebration. The elegant concierge ready to, they had a cake and everything. They had cake, and talk about cake. I think there was more cake in the ring than outside with those other two guys holding that. As we get the elegant girls come out, Jakara and Lash Legends interrupt.
Even more cake.
Yes. Yeah, cake for everyone. Of course. And then in Spitfire, Danny Nuna and Jody Threat come out, declare that they want their rematch now. But then when you think it's over, there's more. Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley makes an appearance, and they want a title match as well, leading to an all-out brawl. Oh, Santino and Marella lays down the law, announced that Ash and Heather will defend their tag team titles against Gigi and Tatum next week, but Spitfire is banned from ringside, but not Metaphor. Yes.
Let me sit. Okay, real quick, because I know we're trying to speed things up because we've been going a while. What have we talked about for the last couple months for Splitfire and Dana as the Legends? I think, I was like, I love this because they're kind of going back and forth. I thought, Alice and the Legends, they're going to give the title back to Splitfire because there's not many 2 knockouts titles. Bring in the Meta Girls and bring in what they needed. That was a must. Because now it's not like, okay, so when are they going to rematch Splitfire? No, like it's not now. It's like, okay, now we get to see Ash and go to those 2 girls go against other people before probably dropping the titles again. But the TNA Knockouts division tag team division needed this. They needed more because there was only 2. They were flipping the titles back and forth like hot potato between these 2. That's what.
Here's the one thing. We also, Chris, it serves 2 masters because, right, like you said, not enough knockouts tag team to really put a lot. Because right now you're building Savannah, and after getting missed in the face, maybe Zaya, Brookside, and Lee, maybe not. My point, you're bringing in and NXT. They absorbed the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. That's already bad decision, but. How you could get some of these NXT women as tag teams to get over, go work in TNA for the TNA Knockouts tag team titles. Now you build a strong division with both companies for that one title where you could feature them on Black and Forth for the televisions. It works because now you could keep Fatal Influence. Now you could still, Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix, or JC Jane and Fallon Henley could go after those tag team titles. You also got Kendall Gray and Carly Bright on their.
You got Solo Ruca and Zarya.
And Zarya, when they cross the line, that's another formidable partner to go out there and go, oh damn, well wait a minute, they could make it make sense or pair up tag teams with 2 ladies that are not really being utilized in NXT to go to TNA, and TNA now gets more contenders to their Knockouts division, tag team title division. Works great. You don't have to start adding people together and so forth. I'm waiting for TNA to bring in the Tongan Twins. Let's go. If NXT is not bringing the Tongan Twins, we need TNA to bring the Tongan Twins. We need Tongan Twins in TNA. I'm a big fan of them.
They would be like what the Colognes are for TNA right now.
Yes. On that. Yep. But we'll see. I'm excited for that because it was bringing all these ladies in there where it makes sense because there is no NXT tag titles for them to go for. They're hungry, these ladies, and they want that particular gold. I love that there. As we move on here, in a quick match here in a pour, this was it wasn't October, it wasn't pumpkin season, but it was a good old-fashioned squash. My guy Mace Warner with Statlander beats Mogno. I don't even know. It doesn't even matter what the guy's name was. He defeats him via pinfall with a massive knee strike. It was less than 20 seconds match. I mean, my goodness. Yeah. That lasted a little quicker than some of these marriages in Hollywood. That fast. All right, so we got Steve Maclin's promo continues as to rejects Eric Young's offer to Northern Armory. He wants to continue to do things on his own, and he always stays alone because that's the bottom line because Steve Maclin said so. So we move on for the main event time. Is Joe Henry and Elijah versus the System, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. Joe Henry and Elijah versus the System win pinfall with a standing ovation on Joe Henry and Brian Myers. The main event, I'm going to be honest with you, it's great to see Elijah, but we're all going to wait for months ahead when Elijah takes that guitar and slams it on Joe Henry's head. That's a matter of time, Chris.
Oh, yeah, we can't. Dude, he's done his best work as a heel. So I mean, we all know how I feel about Elijah. I love him, but I love him more as a heel. I love him way more as a heel. Yeah, no, we didn't review TNA this week. Obviously, we had the Knicks game going on, but you guys had the Knicks game going on over there.
Yeah, I had no one to host. I had no one to host the TNA show.
I heard that it wasn't that great anyway. So this was from the clips what I've seen, it was good. So I don't know, but a lot of I enjoyed it. You know, they even the little things like First Class. I never thought I'd get behind them. I'm kind of starting to like the little segments when they're not too long. But yeah, this was another good show by TNA. And I don't know when the next live one is. Probably later this month in April, right? And right before WrestleMania, right? WrestleMania weekend or something like that.
Thursday before WrestleMania, they will be live. Thursday before WrestleMania, live,
yeah. So
10 o'clock start, a late night for us too. So yeah, they'll be going on live there. But this was a good one for TNA. But that's not all that happened on Thursday night. In Outlaw Wrestling had a retirement match for the one and only Homicide, who was hanging it up. Homicide has done so much for independent wrestling for New York City. You saw a former TNA star, plus of Outlaw and a House of Glory and all that good stuff. Homicide, final match, teamed up. To me, being a Latino from 187th and in the Bronx and Grant, dope, because one of the names of the people from the Bronx to really got into the wrestling map, Homicide, who doesn't get talked too much. Damian Priest, Mike Santana, Ortiz, Eddie Kingston, who's in Yonkers, but it's still from it's like a little outskirt of the Bronx. Me being from the Bronx, being excited, and who says good things don't come out of the Bronx? Well, look at these guys persevering, and what the 47-year-old, what a luxurious career he's done in professional wrestling. Would have loved to see Homicide under Triple H Hall of X creative. I think there would have been some great stuff for Homicide to do with the WWE, with his innovation of violence and his start. Just that Vince McMahon didn't see what others do see, but it is what it is. He still made a big impact in the professional wrestling, going into the Independent Hall of Fame, Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame for Homicide. So wanted to bring that up to him. Yes,
yeah,
Chris.
He reminds me. Yeah, first off, shout out to Homicide, like you said. Him and Hernandez and TNA were really great. I think me watching TNA. I've watched TNA since I was a kid, and watching them at the time, he was X Division champion, 6-setter ring. There wasn't many Latino representation in TNA at that time. There wasn't at all. There wasn't. And then him and Hernandez made the scene. I loved their Cholo gimmicks. I think he was great in Ring of Honor as well, former Ring of Honor champion back in the day. So he's had a great career. He reminds me of like a Briscoe. None specific, but he did so well, so popular in the indies, had a really big cult fan base. Ring of Honor, top of Ring of Honor, TNA and other companies just never made their name on the big stage, right? WWE, but he's had a phenomenal career. And he did so much for TNA at that time, 2007, 2008, 2006. Him and Hernandez really changed the game. He put over Eddie Kingston, him and Hernandez. I think they're one of the reasons why we had Eddie Kingston. So, enjoy retirement. I'm happy to give him a little tribute too, a little go home show.
Yeah, good job for that. And we're going to Friday night. I don't know if Samuel, if you watch TNA or anything, you want to elaborate on anything there, or we'll move on to SmackDown. We could go on SmackDown too, since we don't want to stay too long in the tooth. All right, we'll move on to SmackDown real quick here. SmackDown from Bologna, Italy. And of course, an afternoon there. Let's go right into this. From Bologna, Italy. Of course, you got Joe Tessitore, Wade Barrett on the call. Kevin Owens and Randy Orton are going to be the ones kicking off. The theme of Randy Orton hits, the crowd goes bonkers. They were singing the song. They were waiting to hear voices in the head. And, of course, the Viper making his way towards the crowd. The Italian crowd sings loud and proud. And we get back at Randy Orton's match against Carmelo Hayes last week, where Kevin Owens gets involved of the match and runs him off back in the ring. Orton has his entrance pose and the crowd still singing his theme. That would have lasted like about almost 10 minutes, close to that. And we look back. Morton music finally fades out, leading to Randy Orton chants, and Randy Orton raises the microphone to speak, and only for Kevin Owens to cut him off, and the crowd started booing. Kevin comes out, steps out on the stage with his mic in his hand, and he says, Randy, that he wants to do, but to hear him out, the crowd gets on Owens' case. Oh, Kevin admits that what he did was wrong. He said it was all Cody's fault, and Sammy got what he deserved, but not Randy. Kevin says to Orton, would you forgive me? He gets his anger got the best of him. When you get angry, you do stupid things. And before he says he forgives Randy for picking Cody's side, and Randy can forgive him for that power driver. Now, if someone pocket power drives you when you have a bad neck or bad back, would you forgive Kevin Owens after he attacked me? I mean, for taking Cody's sides?
No. I don't know. I wouldn't. I enjoyed the segment. I still think somehow in the future we get Kevin or kind of Randy to not align with Kevin, but to maybe see where he's coming from to go after Cody in the future. But I think they're gonna have a WrestleMania. I think they're gonna have a WrestleMania match. If I'm not
yes, they're gonna have a WrestleMania match.
So the long-term storytelling, they were besties last WrestleMania and driving down that golf cart together.
Yes.
And a year later, they're going after it. But, that's all I got for that. I think it's going to be a good
let me ask Samuel. Samuel, he asked for an apology, and he doesn't want to accept the apology, leading to a match there. Let me ask you this. Does that promo resonate in Randy Orton later on in the road, like Lone Storm storytelling? Is he going to something to think about?
You saw him there. You saw him. He was taken aback by what Kevin said. That one hit him because this is why the current the current creative directions that they do now in WWE is so you don't feel insulted. Yes, he attacked Randy. Yes, Randy returned to get his receipts. Yes, he did not get to do that. Yes, Randy wants blood. He's out for blood. You know for sure if somebody gets to do that to you, next time you see it, it's on site. You will know, no need to say anything, no need to acknowledge anything. I'm like, I just want to get my receipt in. And I love how Kevin came to remind him of like, come on, man, it's me. Obviously, if there's anybody that should understand what I did to you, it should be you. I mean, remember the 209 Randy? Remember the Randy? You just changed as of recent. So why should you be so mad? I had to take you out. I needed to get back at that fool, that man that wanted to come. He's just here loving up everybody. That's all a facade. Like I like the fact that he tried to plead his case, and you saw when he knew that Randy was like, "Fuck that shit, I'm not going to listen to you. I just want to get my receipt on you." And you said you were like, "Okay, fuck shit, I've tried to plead my case with you." I like the fact that he planted the seed of like, can you let this go? Like you did, like he did not listen to me. I reacted wrongly. Can we let this go? And can we look at the bigger picture? I like the fact that he presented him with a bigger picture. And Randy might not want to listen to that now because of the voice in his head, like he said, and him wanting to get revenge. And as a man, okay, you have to get your punch back in. But I believe, especially with the Viper and Cody's story still waiting in the wings, we might go circle back to this thing again, and then we'll be like, did he really take into consideration what Kevin said? If there's one thing I acknowledge about this admission is the fact that even long-term things that you thought is just a throwaway, when you are in a bigger picture, you would instantly you connect it to yourself. Like, so this is what this meant. This is what this meant. And I know for sure because I'm not sure Kevin will just go out there and mention Randy and him tagging together in the future or tagging together going forward if it's not something that they are considering doing. and I know they have to get this one out of the way. So that's something else that I know for sure that if it happens, it's something I'm going to get back. I mean, having the tag team of Kevin and Randy, those are the two most destructible superstars, that are the people that like don't give a damn, but like they have that edge, and that would be cool to see, especially with the tag team struggling at this point in WWE. So yeah, I think that's like a great act to go in the future.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love what you said there, and I agree with that there. And of course, we'll find out that match face to face. Although they didn't really say any stipulation, it looks like a singles one-on-one match between Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, which really some people say might not need it, doesn't need it. Wouldn't mind a no holds bar match where the punt kick is allowed on the match, as well as the package power driver, because I don't want to call it an unsanctioned match. You just had it last Elimination Chamber, so you don't want to sound like you're lazy booking. You want to kind of change the name. You could say a no holds bar match between these two guys will be more than enough, in my opinion. But we'll see how they go with that creative there. Of course,
And
yes.
And they have a couple of weeks to go, so they should do something where, like, obviously Kevin did not come into, like, they did not get any brawl in and all of that. So I think we still have like a couple of weeks. They should get to do something to get that out there, because I'm not sure like a straight up wrestling match with this kind of animosity within these two people is really something that should be like, we need something more, add something, you need to sauce it up for us, season it up for us to get us there. And that's, yeah. Isn't it funny how everybody complains about WWE superstars not always? It just so happens Kevin always has a WrestleMania match, and every one of it means something. I'm not sure I've seen any WrestleMania match from Kevin Owens that is a throwaway. Always just there. Everything always means something, and it's always like a long story or something that gets him there.
Yes.
And like, I mean, for 10 years plus, it's crazy to have that consistency always in WrestleMania match, and that's to say that obviously I'm so always very proud of Kevin Owens, like the way he's handled his career, because he had the chance to go to AEW and fuck himself up, but he's still here, always getting in the picture one way or the other. I can't wait to see what they do at WrestleMania.
Yeah. You know what they say. Kevin's always right, and you know I try to tell you that, but people don't listen. I try to tell you that. So we move on here. We get a look back at Drew McIntyre, Damon Priest from last week. Drew promising to make Priest life a living hell leads to a tag team match here. Damon Priest and Jimmy Uso teaming up with No Yeet himself versus Drew McIntyre and Shinsuke Nakamura. With Shinsuke, he wants to leave the WWE. He's not happy because he lost one match. He lost this and that. Meanwhile, the dude is in Italy. The dude is in Spain eating tapas. Now he's in Bologna eating prosciutto. And Shinsuke in the tag team match there. This one was a good one as McIntyre heads to the ring. Priest runs out and attacks him. Didn't even wait. Nakamura comes out to help. Jimmy jumps in out of the ring and flats them both. Boy, he landed the moonsault. I guess he hasn't been eating at the Waffle House. We get the bell. Jimmy Uso attacks and kicks and punches McIntyre. Uso chops McIntyre and runs at him. McIntyre catches him with a suplex. Uso to the mat. McIntyre chokes out Uso and then into a slingshot, him into the ropes. Nakamura tags himself in and trips Uso and pulls him out of the ring and kicks him onto the announce table. As they go, fans, we back. We have to hear some Pizza Hut commercials and a commercial break, but they come back when the show starts. Jimmy gets Samoan drop on McIntyre, who crawls and gets the hot tag, gets the tag over to Shinsuke, only for Uso to feed him off for a long and hot tag to Damon Priest. And Drew keeps him off the apron while laying up Nakamura with the attack on the ropes. Priest grabs Nakamura by the wrist. He's going for the old school, only for Nakamura to fight back and go for a Kinshasa. A clothesline by Priest. Drew immediately gets involved before Jimmy sends him out of the ring with a super kick party. And back into the ring, Priest takes Nakamura down with a South of Heaven for the 1, 2, 3. But McIntyre is not having none of it. He blindsides Priest after the match before attacking him on the canvas. Priest tries to fight, but keeps sending him to rope. McIntyre hits him up with a Claymore, and the crowd loves it. I say this, McIntyre, soak it up, buddy boy, because you're in Europe and they're going to cheer for you. But once you come over across to the United States, you're going to be back to Melatonin McIntyre. So soak it up, buddy boy, because the U.S. is Damian Priest country, and they're not going to be cheering for you there. But your thoughts here, Chris? McIntyre, Priest.
Yeah, I mean, it's
those punches to the head were vicious.
Yeah, I mean, it's not official yet. But we know right now, right? We're gonna get Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. I think Drew McIntyre is gonna go on this obsession like he did with CM Punk with Damian Priest. I think he has an obsession of people that screw him over out of opportunities, and Damian Priest has done that. Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber. So I think it's going to be a really good match. I think the tag team match itself was good. Obviously, you can't have Drew McIntyre take the pin. You got to make Damian Priest look strong, so you pin Nakamura. I think not every match on the card needs a title, obviously, with WrestleMania, and this is a good story that they're building. These guys had a great match for the title at Clash of the Castle in Drew's hometown, but we saw some interference, so I think that this is going to be another. I think this match at WrestleMania will be better than that. So I'm excited to see who wins the match, and I think ultimately who wins that match is going to get a big push from the SmackDown brand. So you got to watch out for that. It's too early to make a prediction, but I think that's where it's going to go.
All right, you want to see this match, Samuel, between Punk, Priest, and McIntyre?
Yeah, obviously, this is one of the reasons why, I really love Drew McIntyre's work, because he makes you. Remember,
just like Drew McIntyre puts people to sleep. And look at that. You mentioned the name. It's like he's like reverse Joe Henry. You say his name, he appears. You say Drew McIntyre, people disappear. Ah, man. We actually had some. Damn, Drew. You always do this, Drew McIntyre. This damn Drew McIntyre. I mean, he does this all the time. He's a walking human melatonin. He's just that's what he does. Well, hopefully we get Samuel back on. I want to hear his story. The one person that had something nice other than Cherry Blossom, Drew McIntyre lover, Samuel. Damn. All right, I'm gonna hopefully when he gets back on, we'll get him going to hear his thoughts. And a segment that was spoiled by Samuel on X for me, but I forgive him.
Me too, buddy. I forgive you too, even though I saw it already. But
Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair in a split interview where they had their face-to-face promo battle separated. All right, with the match already sells itself. I want to see how creative. I don't need to see them booking a tag team against each other with other teammates to see them in the ring. I don't need to see it right now. I hope they don't get in the ring until WrestleMania. Just get it built. Mm-hmm. Keep that strong build for both of these ladies. We'll see what going forward. We got Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman for number one. Now it was predetermined and told that the winner becomes number one contender, because before that there was a backstage promo with LA Knight and Braun Strowman, where Braun Strowman says if he wins, he becomes the number one contender, and so that's gonna set up possibly who between those two. And all right, Strowman was pumping himself up, and of course we get that match at ringside. Fatu makes his way out for this match against Braun Strowman. He, as he does, always shows head above of order, always getting ready for the match. And of course, I was surprised they went in a commercial break there, but when they came back, they returned to Braun Strowman, making his way out with the bells. And the two men circle the ring before Strowman sends Fatu into the corner, and off they go. They levy offense with Fatu turning it around with some shoulder charges as he backs away and rushes into Strowman, who takes him down with a clothesline. Fatu gets to the corner, drives a boot to the face of Braun, who responds by sending the Samoan Werewolf to the outside, where he quickly brings Fatu back into the ring. He follows them back and forth. These two continue to brawl, of course, to the train spot, sending him flying by the table. Jacob continues to attack, but as soon as he gets in the ring to step by Strowman, he rolls into the corner to conduct the Suture Train song to the crowd. He played the crowd. He played the hits. He heard the crowd. He listened, and he got him going, the ole ole. LA Fatu. But then out comes the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, and Tama Tonga, and causes the disqualification where Braun Strowman wins via DQ. I was like, okay, I raised my eyebrow, but I understand why they're gotta protect Jacob for not getting the pin.
Yes.
And if he goes against LA Knight, you don't want to bury LA Knight by Jacob Fatu losing to him. They took the title, and then it gets log jam for Jacob. So, but eventually, Jacob has to lose a match eventually. And I'm not saying it has to be now. And LA Knight has to continue to look strong. So, Braun Strowman versus LA Knight next week in London. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought the disqualification finish sucked at the beginning, but I realized this might lead to Solo and Jacob at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You can't, obviously, like you said, right? Don't have Jacob take the pin. Don't make him look quote unquote weak. And then I don't expect Braun Strowman to obviously take the title away from LA Knight, but I see what they did here. This also gives Jacob another reason to not be happy with Solo, as we saw backstage where he started flipping shit and
he was upset.
So that said to me, obviously it's not official, just like the Drew match, but tonight's SmackDown said to me a lot of the matches we're gonna get. So that segment closed. I think we're gonna get Solo and Jacob at Mania, with Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa aligned with Jacob.
I can see that.
Yeah.
And I can see that at the end of the night, Jimmy and Jay coming out to Solo's side.
Yeah, me too.
I can see that. I can see where that could happen there.
I think Solo, and I think Solo goes back to Roman and be like, damn, did I fuck up? Like, they all betrayed me. Now I kind of see what you felt. Now I kind of feel like, now I know what you went through. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe that would be long-term storytelling.
I walked in your shoes type of deal, and I understand what road you took. Although he never was undisputed world champion, but we understand the point there. Yeah, as you said, we saw him in the back for Jacob going bananas, but Lurk and Toll kind of stepped up a little. Solo, whichever do something. I'm paraphrasing along the lines again in my matches. I had it one there. Here we got a backstage with Liv. Backstage, we hear from Liv Morgan heading to the match with Jade Cargill tonight. Before heading back to the ring, being ringside as Piper Niven makes her way, accompanied by Chelsea Green and Alba Fire. She's ready to take on Zelina Vega next. Good to see Zelina Vega is going to get some TV time. It leads where we go back and we saw, of course, where Jacob Fatu got mad and threw all these stuff like we mentioned. But we get Piper Niven versus Zelina Vega in the match. I guess number one contender, or if Zelina beats Piper Niven, gets a shot at Chelsea's U.S. title matchup. The match starts off somewhat kind of slow with the two women trading some strikes. Niven taking Zelina to the mat as the quiet crowd starts chanting for Vega. The chants change as we want Chelsea, and Vega turns that around and catching Niven with a sleeper, holding Piper and sending her back down. The crowd seems a little whirly on the chants now that Piper Niven gets back on the works on Zelina, but they came back around and she sends Piper Niven into the corner. Zelina worked her ass off, only to be distracted by Alba Fire on one end. The numbers game where she gets hit with like $1 million slam or a big boss man slam for the victory for Piper Niven. What's next for Zelina though? Zelina didn't get this victory. Like, what's? I'm confused.
I don't know. I
thought
Zelina don't know what's next for Zelina. So did I. She looked good out there too when she came out. I don't know, man. I don't know. She's not really a part of the LWO anymore. So
she did the 619. She did the 619.
They're in two different brands, kind of.
New theme music as well.
I don't know what they have in mind for Zelina Vega. I really can't answer that question. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, are you Samuel? You invested in Zelina Vega, or you think she's in some danger? Still think he's having technical difficulties still, but we're good. I'm gonna move on a little bit. He's having a little technical difficulties. Yeah. Move on here. In a match that I had my head scratched and I actually got upset on camera. Liv versus Jade Cargill. Now, of course, they'll show commentary shows this summer tour. They announced some dates in the summer. WWE will be returning for Clash at Paris, and a lot of dates in August in another European tour in late summer, which I love. I love it that they're going to do it in August. And I said this on the stream. I'll say it again. I think when is the time we're going to say, and I hope that Europe holds it, WrestleMania. Before I was against it. I was like, no, that should stay on the U.S. soil. But if they're going to give us those crowds and those chants and the experience, the United States is not doing it. You know what? I wouldn't mind seeing a WrestleMania overseas in Europe because of the crowd and the enthusiasm for the crowd wants to be there, because they'll come from all different parts of the European Union to that one place that hosts that WrestleMania, and they could get a venue that could hold over 100,000 easily. You know, I don't know how well the whole over 100,000. Hold on, I got a fat. You know, I don't know, Samuel. I have to put you off for a minute because that was loud. So, your headset. Got to put your headsets on. Let me bring you back on. Let's see. Oh, it's still bad. I gotta. Let me put you on camera with muting your mic. Let me see. I muted your microphone because I got a lot of feedback there coming on.
Yeah, me too.
That was crazy. Yeah, so hopefully they get that going. But here's one that got me upset: Jade Cargill versus Liv Morgan. Of course, we saw that Liv got interrupted Jade's and here's the match. Liv got all these victories over so and so and so. Why?
Are you reading that too?
Oh yeah. I guess. All right. I guess. All right, so hopefully we get ourselves back together going. You're good, Chris, or you need a break?
No, I don't know what people do with themselves, man.
All right.
I don't know why people.
All right, so we're getting ready. So, okay, if you're in the Missouri area, please contact. They need if you're a psychiatrist, please, in the Missouri area, Sliver Jeffers needs a little bit of an assistant there. So, maybe there's an online psychiatrist who just got into wrestling to help her. All right, so we move on. Back to, and I didn't like that Jade Cargill took the pin here. I understand Naomi interferes in the numbers game, but how much more Liv Morgan? Like, how much more of the force fed of Liv Morgan we're getting? You beat Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax, now Jade Cargill, but you couldn't beat Ronda Rousey. Who come on.
Yeah. I'm
lived out as a singles competitor.
I am lived out as well. I know you were lived out because you were literally screaming during the Elimination Chamber for her not to win. So I know how we feel about Liv Morgan. I think I am a little bit lived out as well. I personally, I'm not a fan of her. I'm just not a Liv Morgan fan. She's made improvements in the ring. She's had good matches over the last couple months, but
yes, I agree with you.
She's not doing it for me long term wise. I can't. But I do enjoy. I like Naomi coming out there, but
I did like Naomi. I did like Naomi attacking her, the ring getup, the gear. I still want to hear her cut a promo. I kind of still want to see her say, "Don't call me no more, Naomi. I'm Trinity." I want her to change her name to Trinity. Yeah, going forward as the heel, but that's not going to happen. But still, I like that. Jade gets her first pin as a singles against her as a singles to Liv. So Liv, not only that, pins Nia Jax. Okay, pins Rhea, gets the crown jewel champion. Now she got to get Jade Cargill also. All right. I mean, who is she giving hand favors to in the back? I mean, that's all I got to ask.
I don't know, man. It's and now she's a tag team champion. So
yeah, she's worse than Worldwide West. Where's William Wesley? Jesus Christ. Yeah. I mean, my goodness. On that there. We'll move on here. As hopefully Samuel, Samuel, talk to me. Are you okay? Are you back? Are you got your technical difficulties situated? Your thoughts on Liv Morgan, Jay Cargill.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Let me unmute his. You gotta unmute your mic for a minute. Hit the unmute button. No, he's still got some technical difficulties. You gotta you're muted. You gotta hit the unmute where it says unmute, mute and unmute. As let me hold on. Don't go anywhere. Let me put you back up. There we go. You should be on. Go ahead. No, we get bad feedback. You got to use your headphones. Yeah, he's got the speaker. Yeah, because we're getting his feedback because he has.
I'll private chat it.
All right, so we'll move on here because we want to wrap up here because I got a double streaming as well. We hear backstage with McIntyre as he's leaving the arena. He looks back at Damian Priest, tells him that when Priest that he's looking to finish things with Damian. He says Priest is tough and he is stupid. He says that he doesn't know. He knows where to find him next week on SmackDown as he heads to London. And he walks away and stares down Rollins, walking towards the venue. Rollins in the blue oven mitt jacket, Rollins, Punk, and Roman Reigns still to be under the same roof. We can't wait. But as promised, to hear from the Street Profits first from winning the tag team titles. The Profits come out only to get interrupted by Legado Fantasma. The crowd start booing them. Profits with a new theme song, by the way. How do you? I like the new theme song. It sounds a little bit.
Too. They needed something different, and they're being featured in main event scenes. So
yeah,
good for them. Long overdue.
Same singer as Solo Sikoa is taking it all. It sounds a little similar, but it's the same artist on it. Of course, he addresses the crowd in Italian first and foremost, and then in English back to Spanish. Said the guys La Garza looking to get a title shot at the tag team titles, and that brings out Pretty Deadly. Remember, they're the #1 contenders, and they won, and they will be having their shot next week in London. But we get a match though between the Profits and La Garza, so they're going to go. Referee comes out. They go to a commercial break. When they come back, they got a Rey Fenix vignette as he airs his return and walking through there. So Rey Fenix officially signed with the WWE. He probably makes his debut in London next week. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. They say he might debut on the tour, so we'll see if that's there. We get the tag match, La Garza versus Dawkins and Angelo, working well. I was looking at time. I was like, do they really need this match? Because you got 3 guys coming out, Punk, Rollins, and Roman. It was 10:30, and I was like, man, you giving them a half hour? They went over, like they gave them 20 minutes. I go, is that going to be enough? Because it's going to be 10 minutes alone with each introduction from each one of these 3. And no, they got it. And winner Street Profits with the blind tag forward hitting that beautiful frog splash for the 1, 2, 3. But we get right into it. Rollins, Roman, Punk, but of course your tribal chief comes out first. The crowd going crazy, serenading him. And OTC, every person that came out from Seth Rollins with a sing-along with his song, even seeing Punk's song was saying, they all got great receptions. Loved it. And I love what Rollins said, I was going to finish him, but no, you couldn't put that aside. You had to come in here, and he gets it. And I like when Roman says, you eliminated me, so I wanted to get back at you. You wanted to kill me, I almost killed you with the step. So it was all crazy there, Chris. Let me go right to the main stuff. When Punk climbs a turnbuckle, raises the microphone so he could indicate his turn to speak before we get the circus kicked off. Let me address the facts here. Neither Big Chief nor Grimace, he called him Grimace, he's watching some Met games, has ever beaten me. He addresses Roman and Roman at the Rumble, remind him that he hasn't been in one for so long, but it's every man for themselves. And Punk says, you wouldn't even be there if I wouldn't help you out at the War Games. What brings me up to the favorite, it is old. But he chooses instead to go after Roman and punches him in the mouth. So I love that fact. And he says that they were too busy with his family where he bailed out the bloodline, but then he punches and we get a brouhaha, setting up that triple threat. Each man pointing at the sign, setting up the triple threat match. What's your thoughts on I like the promo. I just wish they had a little more time.
I wish they had a little more time too, but I don't mind the chaos. I think you gotta give these guys a little more time. So maybe in the future, maybe they could start off the show or something. Maybe they'll have more time that way. But I enjoyed this. I think this match is this should be main event night 1, in my opinion. It's gonna be a chaotic match, chaotic scene, like it already is. Slowly.
Who wins? If you had the pencil, if you could reserve your right to change your mind. Honestly, as of right now. But then talk to you. Then we'll when we do our WrestleMania previews or picks.
Honestly, CM Punk, he has the favor, and I think I don't think they brought him back to just have these big matches. I think they're going to put a title on him soon, and I think him winning. And I think these 3 guys, if it wasn't for John Cena, I think one of those 3 guys would be the next in line to fight Cody for the title. So these are kind of like, this could essentially be your quiet number 1 contenders match, in my opinion. Just don't label like that, like Tony Khan won, but that could essentially be like your number 1 contenders match in a way. Because I know Seth still wants to get at it with Cody. I know Roman still kind of wants revenge for losing his belt, and Punk's already made it clear he's coming after it. So I think obviously this could change when WrestleMania comes, but right now I would book CM Punk to win.
Okay, I think Rollins wins this.
Ooh, okay.
I think Rollins and the triple threat. I'm going with Rollins right now. Like again, guys, this is as of right now, the 22nd of March. Now talk to us the week up for the build and the way the storylines.
Literally less than a month or a month, and then we'll have. I'm sure I'll have. Yeah,
it could change, but as of currently right now, I think it's going to be definitely. I think it's going to be Rollins first, and anything could happen. But all in all, I loved it. Where you talked about the family. Now I kind of want to, like you said, next Friday. I don't know if Roman is going to be around next Friday in London. I don't know what's the schedule. If it was just an appearance and he's flown back, because let me tell you one thing. That's a lot of jet fuel to go fly just for a 10-minute promo or 20-minute promo in Italy. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, and if you wanted to get pizza, you could have got pizza at New York City, not have to go fly all the way to Bologna. But it was a expensive trip for Roman Reigns there, and I hope he's there for Friday. I kind of want to hear Roman talk to the wise man and talk about what is his favor that he keeps talking about and saying. And I want to hear Paul Heyman squeal. What do you guys think about WWE signing Crave Moorhead? I have not heard that signing yet. Dame. We had technical. Sorry, I will go. We'll work on it. No problem. No, definitely on that. Do you know who that is? Yes.
Do I know who Craven Moorhead is? I have no idea. Respectfully, Dime. I'm unfamiliar.
I'm gonna Google it right now and see what that is. Who is that? If he even is a real person, it looks like a Saturday Night Live. I don't think it's a real person. No, it's a Saturday Night Live person.
So what it says here, it says he's a movie director and a producer. So is that who took that writing job?
To me, it looked like he's an adult film star. Unless if you, I mean, hello, it's Saturday night.
According to my research, he's a movie producer.
All right, I have no idea who the hell that is. You're not familiar with that, man. Not familiar. It's
no.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he does look like a porn star.
Craven Moorhead is currently signed with the new NXT. When is this here? I don't know.
I have no information.
You got to put Craven Moorhead wrestler. And I don't know who that is. I apologize if we don't know who the hell that is. Let me see if I see the name. No, it's a made-up character, so I don't know who he is unless there's an Australian sensation. Maybe Australian sensation Craven, but I don't see the Moorhead part. So I don't know if he's an Australian wrestler or what. Give us some more information, Dean. Dime draw. I don't know. I don't see anything else. I only see is a Craven, but the Craven is, Craven Moorhead is there's either a director or a wrestler. So I don't know. We don't know. We don't know who he is. So appreciate you writing in the chat on that. It took us a little bit off the trails of what we're talking about here with the WrestleMania card. And all in all, SmackDown was really okay. It was a good show. From Bologna, Italy. It's going to be interesting. Monday Night Raw is at 4 o'clock Eastern time. If you're in the 4 o'clock Eastern time, that will be early. Oh, he thinks he sucks. Well, I don't know why you brought him up. If he does, I mean, I guess so. I mean, but I know a guy who will sign him in a heartbeat. He will be heartbeat, give him a #1 contenders match and everything. He will be and he could be the wild card for the Owen Hart Cup. Yeah, Craven Moorhead for the Owen Hart Wild Card Cup. I could see that happening. I could see that. Yeah, the wild card of the Casino Gauntlet Title Eliminator Owen Hart Invitational. That's a good one.
And he's gonna win it. And he's gonna win it and actually cash in successfully, unlike Christian Cage.
Yes, Diamond. He should call TK. TK's ready to go. Listen, if you're a wrestler and you have a Stanford W-2 form, you have a job in Jacksonville immediately. Just show that I got paid. Used to get paid by Stanford, Connecticut. Oh, TK will give you a job in a heartbeat because he loves his ex-WWE people. Yes, indeed. Anything else to add here? Because we've been going strong here. We're ready.
It's a good show. Shout out to Samuel. Samuel, if you're watching, I'll shoot you a text probably later. Say what's up. But thank you for joining us. It was good having you on. Good conversation with Kev, like always, for weekly wrestling. I'm excited. I mean, we're getting closer to WrestleMania every time we do this, and soon it's going to be a time for the official prediction. So I'm excited. We got a lot of good things going on in international. I like it. I like the 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock starts for Monday Night Raw so far last week. So I'll probably enjoy it again this week. But overall, good week of wrestling, except Wednesday night. And we'll see what we got going on here next week. But I think it's going to be another good week of wrestling. SmackDown hopefully doesn't get too spoiled. Hopefully I don't see too much before the actual show starts. But yeah, good episode.
No, this week we'll be able to see SmackDown live and in color, no tape.
Cool.
I don't think I'm gonna change the start time on it because I think we'll be able to see it at 3 o'clock London time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think we'll be able to see it live in person. And I gotta say this here: breaking news: former WWE Hall of Famer has signed a Legends deal in the name of Mark Henry. Mark Henry, congratulations, getting a Legends deal for the WWE. So good job there. Now could we see all Caribbean wrestling joining part of the WWE ID and part of the pipeline of great talents from El Caribe now to the WWE via Mr. Mark Henry. So I love that. We all know that Jacob Henry is in the NIL system for the WWE, his son. So it'll be interesting now with Mark Henry part of the WWE family officially again. So that's great to see that there. Congratulations to Mark Henry. Yes, indeed. And we'll find out, what a week of professional wrestling again, all across the board. I loved it. I can't wait to see what we have in store. And again, I wanted to say this though, even though Dynamite, everybody was upset about it and disappointed, but I'm not going to be disappointed of all the wrestlers that made that trip, flew in that blizzard, those bad weather conditions to entertain the 1,700 people that were in attendance. They went out there and they busted their ass for the crowd, regardless if it was 1 or 96,000 plus. They went out there and busted their ass. We might not agree with the booking. We might not agree with the story, lack of storyline creative, lack of direction the company's going, but I'm never going to say that those performers went out there and performed. Now they could go back to their creative, the matchmaker, the creator, whoever's writing from Janine Peppermill all the way to Will Washington to, Khan, whoever is back there, Jerry Lynn, and ask questions and want the answers. That's on them. But they go out there and they perform their asses off. So I never, I'm not going to take away from the performers. I'll take away from the creative and the direction of the company, they're the ones that stinking the joint up on a Wednesday night. So I wanted to bring that on that note as well. Appreciate those wrestlers, those performers putting their body on the line and saying and putting their families. You know, you don't tell me that some of these wives aren't worried that they're driving in a blizzard or in the conditions and, you know, something could happen. So we always think about the other stuff. Let's think about the other stuff. Always think about, oh, they didn't entertain us. This sucked, but they didn't think about the sacrifice that these wrestlers put themselves to just entertain us on a Wednesday night via Max or TBS, TNT, or YouTube or any platform. So I appreciate that there. And yeah, with that said, that's the heel of the ring. We appreciate everyone. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share. This is going to go on the audio platform. If you missed the show, you can hear us, take us on your podcast, and you hear the audio. And of course, we thank Samuel, hopefully part of our program, and watch along with us and be part of the show. And don't forget LFG tomorrow night. I think that's it. That's all for the wrestling tomorrow. We take a break from wrestling for a couple of days, because no one watches Collision. So we'll leave that to Shy-Time Marks because he watches Collision, so we don't have to. And you enjoy it, buddy boy. You eat it all up. Oh, wait a minute. I got a super chat here. Holy shit. Oh, all right. So we say see you later. We'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Peace out.